All right, we're all on the same page now.
I hope so.
Come on then, push the button, Terry.
Put that glass down, Muddy.
I'll pull up the YouTubes now.
I know what you're muddying me for. I wasn't the one that was on the wrong page.
Oh, look, all I see is an exhaust. Nice.
I'm exhausted.
Oh,
My brain's full now. I have to leave.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. Oh,
Sorry, you have to wake me up first, Terry.
okay. Wake up, Alan.
We should have like a little auto finger that pushes.
Don't panic.
pushes Alan.
Oh. I'm exhausted from the pre-show before the actual show.
Yeah.
you're welcome, Terry. I'm glad I could create an argument.
Did
Yeah,
Muddy leave?
Now we're all going to be nice and quiet now and behaved. That's going to be weird.
No, Muddy's still here.
I don't-
Paul, you have to tell us to shut up so we can speak.
Oh,
Is that
Terry,
Gummy Shark?
Terry, it's never quiet in here. There's always your breathing in the mic.
Hey, don't forget his scrolling mouse. Can't forget scroller.
Yeah, it's worse than certain people's keyboards.
It's better that than not being able to hear him at all, though.
What, you can't hear me?
Oh, don't do that.
Don't eat your microphone.
Thanks, Terry. Bleeding
Terry,
easy
don't
now.
forget who's the one who fixed that for you.
Terry's face palming the screen. Who's Gummy Shark?
Mud crab.
Oh,
Oh,
got-
it's got a different
It's
name.
mud flood crab.
Or gummy
Mud
crab.
flaps. Call me mud flaps.
Gumby.
Yeah, Gumby, that'll do.
You know what a Gumby is?
Call me anything. Call me fucking whatever you want. Don't matter.
Green plasticine idiot.
No,
Gumby,
John
you know-
Cleese does Gumby
You know who I
on
am.
Monty Python. Shut up.
I've got to try to get rid of my exhaust pipes now.
Oh, but they're nice pipes, mate.
How did I do that?
Push the button.
I forgot what I got to press first. Oh, shit.
Well, you could.
Alan?
select-
Alan?
I was winging it there for myself, and I'm going, shit, I got myself stuck again.
You could just select the Discord.
Okay. I'm on YouTube, so if I select Discord, you get that.
Yeah, and I'm on my 4th beer, so it's going to get fun soon.
There you go.
Good job I haven't been drinking.
Yeah, I'd really be up shit creek without a thing.
Bit early for you, isn't it, Alan?
Yeah, well, it's 49 minutes past lunch. 49 minutes past midday,
Oh, if you've had lunch, you can drink beer. It's all good.
and the pub's open at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, and Alan's a one-can screamer.
Yeah, I am definitely a one-can screamer.
Quick, get a can in him.
Oh, dear.
Ah, I didn't play the whole thing.
Now, I was going to play Where's Wally,
Oh.
which I had pre-selected.
I actually like the one of the sunset with the guy filming his television screen. That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I'm guessing that was the one we were going to watch, but
Well, we'll put that into the where's my putter inner?
It was in the homework.
Aussie Baller. He's the
well,
putter.
I'll go get it. I'll
He's-
go get it.
Aussie Baller's usually the putter inner.
So,
Can you hear me, Terry?
No, I hear me.
Oh. It's all right. I'm just getting the other window open now.
there you go. There's the link.
Okay, So you want that first?
I think that's the
Is
right
that
one.
majority rules?
I think that was the one everybody was just talking about.
Well, that's the one I just said. I already
Yeah.
picked that. How did I guess
Oh,
that?
yeah,
How did I guess that that's what you were going to pick? I must have
ESP.
No,
Extrasensory
I've
perception.
already done a P. I'm right now.
An extra can of piss.
Can we get a call of hands here has actually seen the full Milky Way without any actual fucking light pollution?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
No, that's impossible.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
Not in
you
Australia.
can't bloody
Can't
see it from
see.
up here.
You can't see the whole Milky Way from where we are. It's impossible.
No, I mean the fucking, well, how far you can see.
You can
Yes,
see
I
the
have
sun.
seen it.
The part was
You-
from light pollution.
You have to be on your half of the bloody globe to see the centre of the galaxy, though, don't you?
Yes.
We only get
Can't see the
we
centre.
only get a crappy little bit up here in the northern frickin' hemisphere.
Yeah, and when it's not cloudy.
But have you actually ever seen it, like, properly?
Yeah, I've seen it out in the country.
Yeah.
It's freaking fantastic.
I've seen
And-
it. I've seen
I can
images
look
on
out.
YouTube.
I can look
Oh,
out the
well, that's
window
good.
now and
That's
probably
fine.
see it pretty well.
Oh,
Not
Leah,
light
stop
polluted.
gloating. My goodness.
Has your snow melted yet, Leah?
Oh yeah, he melted
Loud?
by lunchtime that day.
Let her, she's a fucking loud. Back off.
All I can say is you lucky bastard.
Yeah, I
Oh,
take it
you're
for
a lottie.
granted. I can
yes,
see a lot
I've-
of shooting stars like easily because there's so much sky to see. Because I don't have trees either.
But
Yeah,
yes, I have
so you're
seen the
fine.
arm of the galaxy that we can see from the southern hemisphere. It is absolutely fantastic to see at night
But
time.
hey, like,
It's just the colours are fantastic.
We could
It's
have an astronomy
fucking
club.
amazing.
Astronomy club at my place. Someone bring the telescope.
Apparently, us in the northern hemisphere have got to wait about
It just
125 million years to see it.
Well,
Oh,
you can see it in spirit, Alan.
before we spin around the
Alan?
actual galaxy.
Yes, because of the solar system's tilt to the galactic plane.
Yeah, the fact that it takes 220 million years to go round to one side of it.
Yeah.
How's this?
Check your PMs, Gummy.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, it'll just get over the horizon in about 125,000 years. But
All right, Alan, I wish you luck in your endeavours, but yeah.
I don't think I'll live long enough. I think I'd be better off coming to Australia to see it, wouldn't I?
Yeah, come for a trip down here. We'll welcome you.
You've got an observatory near you too, Gummy.
Oh, what's that, mate?
You've got an observatory near you.
Yeah, I just posted it then.
Is that the one there, the Springbrook?
Springbrook.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got one not far from me as well.
I'm actually
In
heading
Mawson
up
Lake.
there. The next, probably, I've got to try and head up there before winter finishes.
I actually got to
But
see it
when I
from
do go up, I'll live stream it so that you can all watch, and I'll put the fucking. Ooh, sorry.
I've got Tidbit Billa and Honeysuckle Creek about 10 kilometres over the hill from me.
We have this
Yeah,
lovely
yeah.
place called Arkaroola.
I had a bucket.
In Arkaroola, they actually get the local town to turn their lights off during their astronomy club weekend.
So just let me know when you're ready.
We're ready.
Ready to go.
We're ready.
You ready?
Happy day.
We're ready.
You ready? Okay.
Only an hour late this
As
time.
long as we go to Springbrook.
Oh, who noticed that we're late?
Not be suitable for children and sensitive adults because this video also contains one of the dumbest motherfuckers the Flat Earth movement has ever produced.
best introduction
Hey there.
ever.
About 6 months ago, a particularly moronic, low-life flat earther from the Southern Hemisphere did a rather nasty reaction video to one of my sun observations. This one here. At the time, I just thought, this guy is a complete lunatic and doesn't even deserve my time. But lately I've been getting a few requests and suggestions to do a response. And I've kind of always wanted to anyway, so here we go. I give you excrement 200. Oops, sorry, I meant execrate 200.
Hello, I'm Wade and welcome to the Underworld. This video is...
Hang on, wait. Straight away, look at that. He didn't even start at the beginning of the video. He skipped the intro where I showed the setting sun. Oh, he's going to ignore the sunset because he's a flat earther. Okay then. And he's just filming his television. Okay, I get it. He doesn't have a clue what he's doing. Alright, let's get through this.
During sunrise, midday and sunset from my location in Eastern Australia.
What on earth for you,
I'm currently recording the sun.
Well, I thought...
Pause.
Pause.
I was going to say, it's all very well him criticising Execrate for recording from his TV, but there is at least one well-respected globe earther who videos the contents of his screen regularly, because Wolfie does it a lot.
Yeah, but Wolfie gets the audio correct and gets the framing right. This guy, you watch the rest of this video and you watch how shit it is.
I know, but I'm just trying to, just saying, it isn't just fuckwit flat earthers.
You're trying to be nice, aren't you?
Well, yeah, because I can't see me being nice for the rest of the fucking video.
Crack on.
That was obvious. I did this observation because almost every single flat earther from the Northern Hemisphere that I've talked to thinks the sun doesn't rise and set from this direction. But it's okay. My buddy here, Excrement 200, he's going to help me explain that it does. Okay.
Here's a quick little pan around of the position I'm in for the sunrise. It's a gravel car park in a place called Boat Harbour. It's on the ocean side of where I live. It's about a 10-minute drive from...
See all that shit that you're looking out over, mate? There's stuff called water. You might want to interact with it and come to understand how it behaves. Don't know why you're looking at frickin' lights in the sky.
Alright, interact with water. Do you mean something like this? Or this? Or... Whoa! Did you see that? The water was spinning but stopped flowing out of the bucket during freefall. Amazing. It's so amazing how gravity affects water and helps it find its level. Alright, water done. Check.
Pause. Alright, there's a little something that this guy who's critiquing his video has failed to understand, that there are bits of the ocean where it actually sinks below sea level. Believe it or not, they're called eddies. And guess what? The water is not level at an eddy.
Is that Steady Eddie or
Eddie Drum?
There's some waves, particularly Taupo on Tahiti, that actually breaks below sea level. So if you're doing the level of the ocean doesn't necessarily mean anything, because...
have you got any citations or videos of this phenomenon?
Yes, I do. Taupo is some of the biggest waves in the world.
So if water's below sea level, what do you call it if it's not sea level?
It actually breaks below sea level. So
It's called an eddy.
Okay. And who named it, Eddie?
Mr. Van Halen.
Johnny.
Yeah, Eddie Van Halen named it because he was like living on a prayer.
Oh, okay. Press play. While Muddy's doing some research.
And here's the exact position of myself and the camera during the sunrise.
Can you guys hear it? It's a bit soft.
This is the view.
Yeah, it is a bit soft.
According to what? How have you verified this is your exact position?
Now, this question I thought was going to be his dumbest, but he's only getting started. I verified this as my position, as I just explained in the video. I drove there from my house, and then I parked my car and set up my camera right where that little orange marker is, next to the path. And then I used that evil magical thing called global positioning, which for some reason there isn't a flat earth equivalent.
From the camera on the iPad set up for the sunrise photos.
Oh, your
As we can see,
camera.
the camera is pointing at about 115 degrees.
These devices, which you later admit aren't very reliable, they're playing up a bit for you.
That's right, these devices that we all use. And I openly admit that they play up a bit sometimes because I'm not a lying, deceiving piece of shit like this flat earther. In fact, the funniest thing is, this moron has started doing the exact same thing in his videos, using his phone to verify time and direction. Oh, the fucking idiotic irony of this dipshit. Here he is using his phone to verify the time and phase for a moon observation. I don't think he realises that that entire site was built and updated using the globe Earth heliocentric model. And he's even used a nasty evil compass. But I don't really think he knows what the hell to do with it. Watch this.
Okay, so I'm going to start off by filming my compass, but I'm going to film it for just a little bit too long till it becomes awkward.
Conspiracy
But watch
cat.
how it's not going anywhere. Gravity debunked. Anyway, I'm still filming it. I told you I'd film it for a little bit too long. What should I do now? All right, yeah, here we go. I'm going to film the moon. There it is. I just wanted to make sure it was still there, but that's not important. My compass is. Boom, back to the compass. It's still not moved. Gravity debunked. But watch this. Bam. I can move it with my hand. Yeah, I'm back again. Globe Earth debunked.
Thanks, conspiracy cats.
I love that voice.
All right, okay, let me get this straight.
I made this video.
This is, of course, because the Earth is a globe, you say. How on earth did you jump to that idiotic reasoning?
What?
Do you see that stuff that you're looking over? It's water, mate. It can only be level. So because you see some object that lights up the sky that we call the sun, because this big luminary object moves into your field of view from a certain direction, travels across the sky, it moves, and sets in another direction, you've jumped to the conclusion that's proof of a globe somehow. You utter fucking muppet.
Yeah. I think this dude might be a little bit unhinged. I think some of you might be starting to see what it takes to be a flat earther in the Southern Hemisphere. But hang on, there was one thing he said in there that was interesting. Arc? Wait, what? Let's hear that again.
Travels across your sky in an arc.
Travels across your sky in an arc.
The sun moves across the sky in an arc? Oh, dude, I think you need to tell your Northern Hemisphere counterparts this incredible information. They keep telling me the sun here moves across the sky in a straight line. This is amazing.
Pause.
Okay, North.
Yeah, I was going to say that was a bit of a slip-up on his part of actually saying that. To bring that out. Usually they don't say that word.
Yeah, ark, and we know he's not talking about Noah's Ark. for a celestial object to create an arc, therefore it has to be going over a curved surface.
Well, they could say the sun could arc, but over a flat plane, I can't see how it would work. That means the sun would have to go round the flat Earth and go back underneath and come back around again.
Exactly, Terry. How, when all their models that they have shown shows that the sun starts in a circular path, not an arced path. I know it's semantics, but there's a difference.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why they say that models aren't reality.
Yeah, because you can't make reality out of their
because they can't make a model that actually matches with reality. Therefore, they say models aren't reality.
What are they saying that models that walk on the catwalk aren't real?
No, that's just silly.
But they're models, they're real people, they get paid and everything.
Okay.
Press play.
Northern Hemisphere flat earthers, listen up.
No.
They show the phone on the screen. What's that actually showing off a mobile phone?
He's showing his compass position.
Off a mobile phone.
So, yeah, which is not perfect, but it's if you've just calibrated it, it'll usually be within a couple of degrees, and that's probably all you're going to get from a silver type compass anyway. So,
technology. Who's typing?
Mate, this happens. I'll clue you in on something. This happens, this bright object that lights up the sky, it comes up every day, mate. And it goes down every day. Who on earth is saying that isn't happening?
What goes up and down? Now, that's two vectors that don't match a flat Earth model.
Correct, Mundo.
Oh, I got something right.
Doesn't the flat Earth sun go left and right instead of up and down?
It just goes out of your field of vision.
Goes round and round, doesn't it?
It's supposed to go round and round. That's all. Up and down is.
It's impossible.
On a flat Earth.
Thanks, Del.
You're a fucking retard.
Excrement 200, you're a dumbass.
Mate, this happens every day.
Mate, this happens every day.
It rises and sets in different directions. So what?
Oh my god, so yeah, like I said, this guy is going to help me explain to the Northern Hemisphere flat earthers that the sun actually does this every day in the Southern Hemisphere. And so what?
This whole video was filmed all on the same day. This is a screenshot from the Sun Surveyor app, which shows the direction
Oh,
the sun is rising.
some pretty graphics.
Notice how the sun is rising in line with...
No, I just noticed that you have graphics on a fucking idiotic fucking cartoon representation.
Oh, we know how much flat earthers hate graphics, unless they're in meme form, of course. This app I'm using here is called Sun Surveyor. Do you know what else it can be used for? The professional trades that install solar panels use similar apps to this to make sure the solar panels will get the maximum amount of sun all year long. But here we have a flat earther who's too fucking stupid to even realise how fucking stupid he is. He doesn't even realise what this graphic represents. To him, I'm just using some meaningless graphics on one of my evil devices. Fuck, this guy is a moron.
I waited all year to make this video to show how the sun rises and sets south of my location during summer.
You waited all year.
Yes, I waited all year to do this observation around the...
Quasar, what do you mean mute the YouTube live stream?
No, someone's got the live stream going. It's coming back through his mic.
Yeah. Anyone that's watching this, watch it through Discord. Don't watch it through YouTube.
Or mute the live stream.
Yeah,
the
live feed. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the live feed muted. No, I was just going to say, the important bit from my perspective is that for you guys, between your spring and autumn equinoxes, the sun rises south of east and sets south of west, doesn't it?
It can't do that on a flat Earth.
That's right.
It can't do that on a flat Earth. It's
impossible.
which is actually really funny, because guess what Wolfie has done in a previous video about 2 years ago. He took
Hey, wait a minute, you said to guess. Okay.
I'm just getting you prepped.
Yeah.
He took a video footage of a sunset at Bathurst Island off of Western Australia. Bathurst Island sits south of Fremantle, which is almost at the southern tip of Western Australia, and the sun set due southwest. Oh my God, it is south and west.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I mean, obviously the same thing happens up here. In our summer, the sun rises
northeast
and sets northwest. But of course, that is possible on a flat plane because we are supposedly inside the circuit.
Because you're inside the tropic. Yeah.
No. Oh, I'm 52 degrees north.
Yeah, but you're inside that tropic of their circle.
Yeah, because the tropics are defined by where the sun is overhead at the solstices.
Yeah, which is at what angle?
23.5 degrees or 23.7.
Oh my goodness.
Whatever.
Yeah, that magical angle of the direction of our planet.
Yep, that'd be the one. But yeah, I mean, it works for us. It could be possible for us up here because the sun's supposedly closer, so we'd see it earlier. But yeah, it couldn't work for you lot, could it?
Then why do you have such dark winters?
Oh, 52.7 degrees north is probably why I have such dark winters. We're getting up there. But of course, that's the other thing. We have, we during the summer, around the solstice, our sunrise to sunset length is getting close to 18 hours here. And we don't get darker than astronomical twilight for nearly 3 months.
Yeah, that's because you guys are so close to the pole.
Yeah. We can kind of just see the sun glowing up at the pole because the pole is still lit.
Yeah, which is actually, that's something I find really funny, is how the flat earthers keep calling it the North Pole, yet to have a pole, you actually have to have an opposite. You can't have singular pole. Magnets don't work that way.
No, but we do sometimes. No, but we do see some monopoles, don't we? So
Well, like
you
that'd be
can't.
bipolar, wouldn't it?
Yeah, almost everything we see is bipolar, but we do occasionally see monopoles, or
Yeah,
at
but
least
we have to manufacture that. It doesn't happen in nature.
Doesn't it happen in like quantum physics and stuff like that?
Only in condensed matter physics.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to go very, very small for that shit to happen.
Yeah, I'm also kind of thinking, sort of. Sometimes we will get functions that will have a bugger, I've forgotten the name. I've forgotten the correct terminology. Where a function suddenly decides it's going to fuck off to infinity or minus infinity at a certain point, but only at a certain point. Usually, and it's usually some sort of complex function, and it does it like just at one spot in the number plane.
Oh, I just had it on the tip of my brain, and then my brain decided to fuck off.
Welcome to my bloody world.
Start.
Gravity.
Press play.
Yep.
Yeah.
The time of the southern hemisphere's summer solstice. Have a look at your flat Earth map, dumbass, and see
What
if
map?
this sun observation fits.
But this happens every day, dipshit.
But hang on. Say that again. Listen up, Northern Hemisphere flat Earthers.
This happens every day, dipshit.
This happens every day. Every day.
It's possible.
Execrate 200, you're a fucking idiot, mate. Ding.
And how the sun still curves around my northern sky. Okay, here's the sunrise time lapse. I recorded the time lapse in sections because the iPad sometimes stuffs up if it records too long, hence to cut.
Blah, 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 blah. More graphics.
Turn up your TV, arsehole.
Stupid facts. And he just skipped past the time lapse showing the sun rising from the southeast. This guy is priceless. Textbook Dunning-Kruger in motion right here. This fool is the king of Mount Stupid.
It is at 1 o'clock. Okay, midday time lapse, I go.
And this is proof of your globe. How?
Okay, this is evidence that the sun is now in my northern sky, as Excrement 200 has already assured us that the sun rises from the southeast, and if you compare any flat Earth map to the globe Earth model, you see how this observation supports the globe.
The sun moving through my northern sky.
Oh yeah, that was. that seemed to indicate that this bright object that lights up our sky, that it was moving through your sky.
Just to prove that my rod is vertical.
I've seen nothing to verify that it's vertical. There's no plumb line down it. Not that it freaking matters.
This guy is great. He just agreed with me that this is evidence of the sun in my northern sky. Excellent.
But the sun is in my northern sky.
And?
And you're an idiot. Ding.
No, that's copyright.
A nice view from the lookout.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
The feeling's mutual, bud.
Where is this proof?
Here's the view from the iPad, just getting ready to start the time lapse. Still the same day, Saturday, January the 12th, 2019.
Mate, try this again tomorrow. It'll come up in a slightly different place.
Yeah, it will, buddy. Oh, I love this part.
Oh my god.
This happens every day.
This happens every day. Every day.
Is this guy really a globe earther, and he's just trying to speak to Northern Hemisphere flat earthers in some strange roundabout way?
Here's a photo I did from the house.
Oh, what was that?
Uh-oh, he's got me.
The sun's getting close.
The sun's
One
getting
last check with the compass in front of the iPad. It shows that west is about here. But just quickly, here's a photo I did from the house a few days earlier. This shows where the sun is. And
Oh, what was that?
here's the sun surveyor screenshot that shows the sun setting.
No, it shows graphics. I don't see the sun at all in that image.
Here comes the devices rant.
So these devices that you're using to try and verify your location, angle, or direction, or heading, whatever the fuck you want to call it,
what?
Aren't exactly reliable. So what the fuck's this about? And even if you could verify them, what fucking relevance is it that this bright object came up in your sky, in your field of view,
English, bro?
at a given time, and at a given heading, angle, direction, whatever?
English, he used the upward again.
Smaller as it sits.
He used the upward again.
Did he?
Yeah, I know, but you're heading, action, angle, or direction. Which one?
Yeah, pick one.
Which does he want? Because a heading is due whichever direction. The angle is whichever degrees it's at. I mean, like, hello. Give us the maths to go with what you're trying to disprove. Dumbass.
Flat Earther knows math? When? Yeah.
Hang on. I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, okay, I thought so.
So...
There you go.
Yeah, no answer. No, can't.
According to your fucking idiotic fucking ball model, which you've squished into an idiotic pizza model.
What? What did he say?
Hang on.
What?
How has a globe earther turned it into a pizza model?
Yeah. That's putting the shoe on the other
nose.
On the other hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, you picked it up at the same time as I did, Terry.
As long as you're not putting the shoe on the hand, because if you're putting a shoe on the hand, he wouldn't be able to tie the lace.
Okay.
Both your fake fucking models. This is you're a retard, mate.
Wait a minute. We don't actually say we've got a model, do we? For the globe. The globe is the model.
Yes, we do. Well, the globe is the model, yeah.
Well, technically, it's not a model.
It's
an actual physical piece of evidence.
Yeah.
Yes. But we have a model of how it works within the whole of the solar system. The solar system works in the Milky Way and all the rest of it. Which has mathematical derivations that will make very good predictions and all the rest of it.
But you know what?
Yes, we do. The congruence of everything.
We can represent everything on Earth to model it, except for curved water and gravity. Is the only two things that they seem to get us on.
We can represent everything. It's just they don't. It's just they won't believe us.
They won't accept the proofs that prove it.
No, exactly.
They just go, nah.
No, that's CGI, or no, that's not what it is.
Or they just resort to name calling.
See,
or they'll ask a question.
When we talk about the model, they don't realise that what we're really referring to is the sum total of the body of knowledge of physics, cosmology, astronomy. All of that knowledge is encompassed by the model.
Yeah, but we've all been indoctrinated with that knowledge.
Yeah, it was all Elmo's fault from all that Sesame Street talk.
Oh, did they teach the globe on Sesame Street? That explains everything.
Everybody loves Elmo.
No, they just taught me how to count and how to love one another and not be a frickin' retard.
I learned how to.
They probably said don't to call people names too.
A Cookie Monster taught us how to eat cookies.
Elmo would say
acted
that we
like
should,
a retard.
Elmo would say that we should love all the flat earthers as well.
And Bert and Ernie were just like
special friends.
Yeah, special friends.
Yes, they were special friends with Rubber Ducky. But no, Elmo has taught us how segregation is bad, but you shouldn't believe people that lie to you.
Oscar taught us it's all right to be an arsehole to everyone.
And Big Bird was an ostrich dressed in drag.
Who had a fake elephant friend.
Oh, okay. Press play.
You haven't grasped this at all, have you? Don't even bother. Just sit down in the cheap seats and wait till the grown-ups sort this out for you, eh?
Oh, the projection is strong with this one.
Are you serious?
Oh my god, this dumb motherfucker. Look at that. He completely skipped the sunset time lapse. It's not really what this guy addresses, it's more about what he ignores. Pure Southern Hemisphere flat earther ignorance.
Oh, look, there's the Hills hoist.
He's decided to finish the video early.
I was going to say that.
Leave out this part. The sunset. Flat earthers haven't got a goddamn clue how to explain a sunset. Excrement 200, you are an idiot of the highest order.
Disappearing out of view.
But wait, he's got one more little gem for us. So, this lunatic just spent 10 minutes criticising my motives for the observation, and then he goes to his window to film the sky with absolutely no context. And dude, your camera work sucks. You suck at filming. But wait, what's that? He's showing us where his satellite TV dish is. he even shows us where it's pointing. Dude, does your TV even work? Where the hell is that dish getting its signal from? Fuck this moron. My God, this dipshit lives in one of the most beautiful countries in the world, New Zealand, and he's a moronic Southern Hemisphere flat earther. It's almost criminal. Excrement 200, you have lowered the bar for flat earthers everywhere. Nice job, you dumb motherfucker. But we don't have to look too far here to find other lunatics from the Southern Hemisphere, such as Flat Earth Jesus and Flat Earth Perth, prime examples of moronic, willful ignorance.
Fiji got a mention.
Well, that was fun. That idiot has a ton of idiotic content, so if you all enjoy this video, I might see what else the goose has to offer, and some of the other Southern Hemisphere Flat Earth dumbasses. As always, thanks heaps for watching, and research Globe Earth. See ya.
Oh, that was fantastic. Research Globe Earth. I love it.
It seems like Wade was a bit triggered.
just a lot.
Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters and debunkers.
Oh,
it's time
go
to do
away,
some primary
kid.
school science.
But just a question: how often do flat earthers get triggered by us actually calling them out for their wrongness? They go absolutely mental when we pull out a proof. Oh, I don't do maths.
Can you
I
please
don't
stop
do
bringing up
kilometers.
Nathan
I don't know
Oakley?
how to. Oh my
Don't
god!
talk about Nathan Oakley, please.
All right. I have a triangle with sides 1, 1, and 1. What are the interior angles? Let me just pull out a triangle calculator.
Oh dear.
This is the idiotic and uneducated people that we have unfortunately aligned ourselves with that we take aim at. But every time we try and explain to them exactly what the science is, what the mathematics is, what the physics is, they just completely just hand wave it away and go, nah, as Terry so likes to put it. And we have every piece of evidence, photos, mathematics, and they still don't believe what we have to say.
Is your triangle a Euclidean or a non-Euclidean triangle?
Are we going into like eugenics and stuff, or
Eugenics? It's got nothing to do with triangles.
Sorry, I'm using flat Earth reasoning here.
Because if it's a non-Euclidean triangle, then the angles could be anything.
For example,
I was going to say,
Right,
so
turns
I
then.
have a right triangle with the adjacent and opposite being equal unit lengths. How long is the hypotenuse and what are the internal angles?
No, don't ask me.
I know at least. Hang on. No.
45 and 90.
Yes, correct. And the length of the hypotenuse, which is the easy one.
Oh shit.
A squared plus B squared.
Geez, I'm rooted now.
Equals C squared.
No, well, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know it in those things.
345. 345.
Yeah, I know 3,
No,
4,
it's
4.
not.
That's not. Nah.
It's 45, 45, 90, and it's 1, 1 and root 2.
Oh, see, I wouldn't have known that.
Oh, how rude.
Oh, you could have made it a bit easier, Alan.
Only in Euclidean space, Alan.
Is that a threesome?
Yeah, I did say it was Euclidean.
Is that a threesome if you root 2?
Jeez.
Oh,
depends.
see, now you get into cubes.
It depends if it's a twin.
Well, that's my joke for the night. I'm out now.
Okay, bye. Oh dear.
Hang on, I've got to go to somebody at the door.
That might be a person.
What happens if there's 2 people at the door?
Oh, then it's
Some 2 people at the door.
they'll probably be Jehovah's Witnesses then.
How do I do what I did before? And then I can go looking for
Well, I'm in there at the moment, Terry. So
Yeah, wait a minute.
Would that be Euclidean people at the door?
I'm putting my exhausts up again for now. Because then I can play around in Discord and no one will know what I'm doing.
Ooh.
Oh, I like it when you play around, Terry.
I think that's right. I muck it up.
I'm going to have another beer.
Right.
Back.
Alright, was it a person or was it a figment of your imagination?
What, at the front door? That was definitely, it was the postie.
I told you it was a person.
Because companies keep sending my daughter free shit because she's pregnant.
Yeah, you're having a baby. Have a free packet of nappies.
Yeah, trial our product so you might get hooked on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Want to try a new husband?
She's not getting married until November.
And we're all invited.
No one's paying the flights.
He's going to live stream the wedding.
But while you're figuring out the next video, I'll go and sort something out.
I don't know about live streaming the wedding itself, but I might live stream some of the party in the evening if you lot are still up.
In November, I'm still going to be recovering from my fucking foot fusion.
All right, so have we got a choice for the next one?
Host pick.
Host pick. Terry
We'll
just
let Terry
left.
decide.
Terry just left. Just when Wally was gone.
Oh, of course, that's why he gave us the exhaust. Tell us he's leaving.
Click it.
How about we go for something completely different and have a look at Marvel Girls video?
Okay.
The Moors.
Talking about the Moors and the sovereign citizens.
Oh, yes, please.
Yep.
I love these idiots.
All right, well, I've got it ready. I'll just wait until Terry comes back and I can post it. That way we don't fill up the chat.
Yeah, it was like talking about the Tasmanians that owe $2 million in back taxes and all that sort of stuff. They said, oh, but God says we don't have to pay taxes. Well, guess what? The law of the land says you do.
And must obey the law of the land.
I'm pretty sure Jesus actually said that at some point, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Render unto, well, allegedly, render unto Caesar and all that crap.
Yeah.
Yes, you are quite right there, Alan.
Something about follow the law of the land. Was that not one of the lessons that he gave?
Yep, that was a creed.
Yeah.
Waiting.
Why am I waiting?
To live stream.
Yeah, but it's all just filler because that's how we go for 4 hours. But yes, the best thing I heard all day was that God works in quantum mechanics.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Which is funny because quantum mechanics is a human construct.
So God works on very, very small scales.
I don't know. When you're learning it, it's pretty much inhuman.
Yeah.
Ozzie, why did you put that in here for? What's the point of that?
But it was humans that discovered quantum mechanics. It wasn't.
Well, they didn't
it
discover
wasn't,
it. They learned it.
Well, we
Oh, I haven't
postulated
learned
it.
but we've used some of
Well,
its
if
laws.
you understand quantum mechanics, you don't know quantum mechanics.
Yeah. Did we not devise it? I think that would be the best word.
Yeah, but how would God know something that we devised?
What did I come back to?
Because he put it in our brains for us. Or he put it in somebody's brain for them. That's what they would say.
Oh, yeah.
But how? That's my biggest question
Well,
of this
it's
God
mysterious.
person. How? How does he do it?
But he's
What is?
omnipotent and all powerful, so all
No,
knowing,
he's
all
not.
powerful, all thinking.
No, he's not.
Well, he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be.
He can do whatever he wants. Can you know that,
But he
demonic?
doesn't. But he doesn't.
Yeah, he
No,
does.
he's just a twat.
He just doesn't give a shit, so he doesn't do anything to help.
But he
He's
can't
a
be.
complete cunt.
He can't have free will and be omniscient. It's a contradiction.
Well, you just got to talk to him more, and it all becomes clear.
No, it gets muddier and muddier.
No.
No.
Ask JM Truth. He's on it.
No.
The God delusion.
Did you know Paul's
JM
Dull
Truth's
spoken.
JM Truth's got such inside information that he knows what's not true in the Bible.
No wonder I couldn't get a word in.
Oh, JM got destroyed on Sci Strike's channel.
I'll post a
was he
link,
on
Terry.
there, was
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
Yeah.
I just noticed Paul was naked in the side chat.
I was naked, was I?
Yeah.
Someone's naked?
I can't have that.
Grab it.
Did you dress Elmo?
JM hid for a couple of months there and was going telling all the other flat earthers, don't debate anyone, don't do it. Now he's back at it.
Yeah, now he's all over the place.
In the chat, Terry.
Yeah.
He is the golden child of flat Earth at the moment.
Oh, I don't think most flat earthers even like him. He doesn't get many subs on his channels.
Yeah, but
He does the live stream and only Globe people turn up to it to give him shit. Have you been to any of his live stream?
No.
Why would I?
Yeah,
It's
why
good
would
fun. It's good fun. Nathan Thompson hangs around and silences us all.
God.
The thing I find the most is that there's so much infighting in the flat Earth community, outstandingly ridiculous that they can't put their heads together just to put some plan of attack.
Well, so I said even if they were right, they wouldn't be able to get their shit together enough to prove it anyway. So
That's right.
I'm going to love it when all the supporters for Flat Earth start asking for their money back. I want a refund.
I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah.
Let's move on to a different cause.
Well, they're all spending their funds for other things, and the funds aren't going where they should be going, so they might have some just cause.
My question is, with all this research they're doing, how come none of them have ever published a single scientific paper?
Well, that's what I was saying before, was that they're spending all their money on themselves rather than going and do research where it should be.
Well, Nathan Thompson spends all his money on his stupid fucking flyers that just cite stupid Bible bullshit and have absolutely no scientific proof.
Oh no, he bought a laser. He bought a laser and tried to do that across the sea fucking bendy light thing, and yeah, that was another interesting moment. It was.
Oh, you mean the guy that doesn't know how light propagates?
Yeah. He couldn't work out why he bought this really good laser, and by the time he got to the other end to measure it, it was like 1.5 meters wide.
That's because he doesn't know how a laser works.
It's a laser. It's
Well,
meant to
actually,
stay straight.
More the fact he doesn't know how photons work.
I see F.E. Core has taken over the job of proving the globe from Ranty. Did you see that Sly Sparkane, shout out to Sly, has analysed the data from their very own video and modelled it out and shown that it actually shows a rotating Earth from their fibre optic gyro data.
Oh, we could have used that.
Who gave them $16,000 to buy that gyro?
I reckon I know who it is. I reckon, believe it or not, It was Mark Sargent.
Yeah,
Did
it
his
makes
mum lend
sense.
him the money?
No. Mark Sargent got a shitload of money from when he won his video game award
What?
when he was a kid.
No, he's
And he
financially
invests.
unstable.
Yeah, he's
Unstable.
got tons of money.
He's mentally unstable, but financially very stable.
Is that why he still lives with his mum?
Well, he doesn't have to pay rent, does he?
No.
Just can't take any women home. That's all.
No.
And Mum doesn't like him out after midnight.
And has to dress him in cargo shorts.
My mum said to me, if I wasn't at home by midnight, I had to be in bed.
I'm glad she didn't say who.
Which bed.
Ah, that's the punchline.
So you took her literally.
Where have you been all night? I was in bed, Mum.
Yeah. That's what you said.
I was in bed, Mum. Not Mum's bed, but in bed, Mum.
Oh, come on. Keep it out of the gutter.
Oh, dear.
He's not the Messiah.
Just a naughty
He's a
boy.
very naughty boy. Oh, look, a shoe. He got the shoe. Hail the shoe.
It's a sign. It's a sign.
Hail the gourd.
Blessed are the cheesemakers.
So if root two's a threesome, what does the golden mean?
Oh, that would be two twins and their best friend.
No, it's an orgy because it's root 5 plus 1 on 2.
Oh yeah, no, fair enough.
I wish I knew math better.
It's not about math.
It's
It's about
okay.
the people you know.
It's okay. I have a psychology joke that everyone should be able to get.
Except for me.
There's not 3 Fs. Have you heard of the 3 Fs?
No.
Fight,
No.
flight, freeze. Well, there's actually 4. Do you know what the 4th is?
No.
Oh, come on, guys. Someone should be able to
Fuck.
get this. Yeah.
What was that, sorry?
Okay. So there's fight, flight, and freeze. And the psychology joke is that there's a and it's fuck.
Yeah, when all else fails, what do you say? Ah, fuck.
No. No, literally.
I was being a little bit more polite there.
Sorry.
If Daz can't
I should have said
brighten,
fornicate.
You lost
an
me.
homo can't brighten it. Fuck it.
You lost me. I've got a psychology joke for you.
Well, fight, flight, and freeze is what you do when you're afraid. You've got the 3 options, and you could theorize. Oh, I brought that word in there. But some people go off and find comfort some other ways.
Fornication.
Eat.
Dude.
Yeah, but if you're by yourself, wouldn't that be masturbate?
No. Mass is when there's a lot of people doing it.
That's a pool party, and then after a masturbate.
Right.
Play the video.
I was waiting for that.
Hey everyone, I'm glad you're here. Things have been kind of crazy and a bit harder to put together as my equipment is dying a quick, messy death. But we keep soldiering on. Besides, I have too much to say to let a little thing like technological death stop me. Also, this video is taking a bit longer because it's something different. And I wanted to get it right. As right as I can. And if that wasn't enough, I'm in the middle of a thunderstorm, so if you hear something, that's it. So let's get into it. I've thought that the Moore movement shows signs of being a cult for quite a while now. The Sovereign Citizens too, but to a lesser degree. The Moors, they add some things that raise it to a different level. I'm going to make my case today, and I hope you'll let me know what you think. Obviously, I'm going to try to keep it short and simple, but using the bite model, I think we'll get there. Okay, so first I should explain about Steve Hassan and his bite model. Actually, I feel like I should break into a song and dance. B, it's for behavior that I see. Forget it. I'm not going to sing. I don't want to hurt you. So, Steve Assad wrote the book about recognizing cult practices. Literally. And since he himself was a Moonie, deprogrammed back in 1976, he knows of what he speaks. His BITE model is the go-to for recognizing high-pressure groups, cults to you and me. Okay, so quickly, BITE, behavior, information, thought, emotion, control. And that's what it's all about. Behavior could be anything from telling you who you can and can't talk to and date to your clothes and what. Oh, yeah. They want you to depend on them. And that could even mean financially, because they're going to take your money. Information is important as it's the indoctrination they need. Your clothes and...
I didn't want to read that. Hey, they spelt behaviour wrong. Jeez. We can read it ourselves. We don't have to have Marvel Girl read it out. Promote independence and obedience. Modify behaviour with rewards and punishments. Dictate where and with whom you live. Restrict or control sexuality. Control clothing and hairstyle. Regulate what and how much you eat and drink. Deprive you of 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Exploit you financially. Restrict leisure time and activities. Require you to seek permission for major decisions.
Jesus, Terry, they're talking about married people.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that sounds like a relationship.
Yeah, sounds like my last 20 years.
That would be an abusive relationship.
Definitely my last one.
Wait a minute, I'm going to go and ask Mrs. for something.
Is it okay if I talk about this?
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't be on the YouTubes if you're in a cult.
Unless you were the cult leader yourself.
Or if you were some kind of public relation person who's trusted,
like Ken Ham and Kent Hovind.
Trusted to
Oh no,
put the narrative out there.
Far further up the food chain than that, you'd be in the top. You'd be in the top 4 or 5 in the whole organisation.
Evangelists.
What? Oh, yeah. They want you to depend on them. And that could even mean financially, because they're going to take your money. Information is...
Deliberately withhold and distort information. Forbid you from speaking with ex-members and critics. Discourage access to non-cult sources of information. Divide information into insider versus outsider doctrine. Generate and use propaganda extensively. Use information gained in confession sessions against you. Ooh. Gaslight to make you doubt your own memory. Require to report thoughts, feelings and activities to superiors. Encourage you to spy and report on others' misconduct. Shit.
Juno, you remember us talking about gaslighting not long ago?
Yes. Does everyone know what gaslighting is? Gaslighting is when it's an emotional abuse.
It's
very
more
simple.
than just information. Yeah.
Yeah, it's emotional abuse. It can make you feel like you're going crazy. So that's someone who say, I didn't say that when they did. When you said you did something, they'll say, I didn't say that. But it can get a lot more complicated than that. So they can throw, say the abuser does something wrong, and then you try to have a discussion about it. All of a sudden, you'll find that whole thing flipped on its head, and they're blaming you for something.
Projection.
Well, it's really unsettling. People who have been in a gaslighting relationship can get really depressed. Their self-esteem goes way low, and their confidence, it's really nasty. And so she's put to make you doubt your own memory there. So if you were to, so an example in a cult would be if you went to the cult leader and said, oh, I don't think you should have done this to that person, they'll say something like, well, that never happened. Or they would say, well, you know that we have to do that because of X, Y, and Z. So that it's like, it's
or it's the fact you're not praising hard enough for us to not do it. And
yeah, it's that form of manipulation that really makes someone doubt their own reality. And so you can imagine that's a really, really important part of a cult. So I watched a video not long ago about how there's different types of gaslighting, which I hadn't looked at much before. So you can have that one-on-one gaslighting, but groups can do it too. And some of you would know that I've just experienced that gaslighting by a group of people where I told something wasn't happening that was, and it makes you feel really nutty, and you have to get away from it when you realize it's happening. Because if you spend enough time around people telling you something didn't happen when it did, you will start to believe it, because that's a normal thing for people to do. The normal reaction is to go, oh, I must be wrong. And that's why it's a really powerful way to abuse people. And so governments do this kind of thing to us too. They'll, policy and stuff, you see it when someone's running in an election, they'll make all these promises, and then all of a sudden those promises won't exist anymore. I mean, that's a form of gaslighting on a a bigger scale. And most people just let it go unless they know how to speak up for themselves. Not everyone knows how to go, no, I know what I heard, what I saw, or no, I'm right, and what you're telling me is wrong. It's actually quite a difficult thing to stand up against, especially in a group situation.
Yeah.
And if you're in a cult, can you imagine just standing up and saying, no, this is wrong? You'd have the whole room gaslighting you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, when I look at that list of things there, that's the one that's gonna really, really mess with someone's head, and then accept all the other things in the list is okay.
Yeah, but it's
does that make sense?
Well, they find it hard to get away from that situation.
Yeah, gaslighting isn't just information; it's also emotional control.
Yeah, it's abuse.
That's something that the bite model doesn't take into account.
It can really, really make someone feel like trodden down and subjective and toe the line, and really powerful stuff. And everyone is the good thing about gaslighting is once you know about it, you're less likely to fall for it, because the average person, like research will say, the average person will just doubt it. And if someone doubts their experience, they'll accept that and go, oh, I must be wrong. So it's actually really nice to know about it, because it can give you the guts to stand up and say, no, that's not what happened, and then make a decision from there, whether it be walk away or stand up for yourself or stick your finger up or whatever it may be, because all abusive people will do this, I think, in my experience anyway. I think that, anyone who does this regularly, parents who do this to the kids, they can really fuck them up too. Parents doing it to kids is not good.
Yeah.
That's my rant on gaslighting.
So are you saying I should stop abusing my barbecue because because I have a gaslighting relationship with my barbecue?
The term gaslight comes from, I think it was was it 1920s? When did they just bring in?
It was the 30s.
It was the 30s,
Not
was, yeah.
20s
I was thinking
and 30s. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a movie called Gaslight, and there was when they had the gas lanterns on the wall.
Yeah, that's when he manipulated that woman into the relationship.
Yeah, Yeah, so he would turn the gas down and up on the gas lights in the house. And then his wife would go, oh, there's something funny going on with the lights. And he'd go, no, there isn't. But he was doing it to her. And that's where she eventually went crazy. And that's how he got rid of her and got it put in the asylum, I think. I'm trying to remember. But that's where the
Yeah, it
term
was at the
gaslighting comes from.
1930s.
He was like actively trying to send her crazy, whereas I guess the modern use to the word gaslight is more about, I don't think most abusers set out to deliberately make someone go crazy. It's just an instinctive thing they do to protect themselves. But yeah, that's where gaslight comes from, an old movie.
And that was the name of the movie too.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a psychopath.
Yeah. A psychopath might do it more deliberately and more knowing that there's
it's a narcissistic thing.
Yeah, narcissists will always do it. If a narcissist will 100% do it, a psychopath, they'd probably know what they're doing a little more. It depends on what's the word? It depends on the abuser. Most of them are doing it instinctively. They're not setting out and going, "Oh, I'm going to make this person go crazy." That's not. It's an instinctive thing. But big thing in cults, I imagine. Big thing in cults. You can press play now.
Is important as it's the indoctrination they need to make you see things through their skewed lens. They do this in a number of ways and will even make you question your own memory. Thought control.
Just stop for a second.
It's all about...
Thank you, Leah. That was very informative. Continue.
Yes, yes, Leah. We're up to thought control now. Okay. Instill black versus white, us versus them.
Stop thinking.
Well, what'd I do?
See, thought control. Hey, hey.
all of microphones and mirrors. Ooh,
where's that mute button?
We don't need no education. We don't need no
thought control.
Thought control.
Change your identity, possibly even your name. Hey, that's you guys. You got to put your name something else. Yeah. You use loaded.
I keep my pseudonym.
Okay. Use loaded language and cliches to stop complex thought. Induce hypnotic and trance states to indoctrinate. Teach thought-stopping techniques to prevent critical thoughts. Allow only positive thoughts. Use excessive mediation, singing, prayer, and chanting to block thoughts. Reject rational analysis, critical thinking, and doubt. Oh, jeez, why do you got to get me to read this? I can't see it properly.
I can read it.
It's flat Earth. That thought control is flat Earth, flat out.
I saw. This is the thing I saw Orphan Red doing once. She was breaking down someone's critical thinking skills, and it freaked me out. I thought, you are smart. She did a very good job of it. Reject rational analysis, critical thinking, and doubt. I saw her do that so fantastically. I was so worried about who heard it.
It's impossible.
Who asked you, Del?
No.
No. No. No. No. No.
We playing?
The us versus them mentality. You should sound like them, look like them, think like them. Even your name should be the same. Emotional is the sickest and most...
Who else is good at reading?
I can read it out. Emotional control. Instill irrational fears, phobias of questioning or leaving the group. Label some emotions as evil, worldly, sinful, or wrong. Teach emotion-stopping techniques to prevent anger and homesickness. So that's the type of gaslighting too, when you tell someone their emotions aren't valid. Promote feelings of guilt, shame, and unworthiness. Shower you with praise and attention. That'll be when they're getting you in, love bombing. Threaten your friends and family. Shun you if you disobey or disbelieve. Teach that there is no happiness or peace outside the group.
A lot of what we've been reading so far has reminded me of when I was listening to some Scientology documentaries of how people came from there and told us what they were like, what it was like in there.
Yeah, Scientology is a cult, especially those ones that join the elite part. What is it called? The SEAL something.
The Sea Org.
The Sea Org. Yeah, those guys are 100% in deep with the cult side of it.
Tom Cruise.
They're not allowed to leave.
They escaped, the ones that did leave.
Yeah, they basically said that it was like escaping a prison to get out of it.
And their friends and family and everything were shunned or something.
Yeah, they were excommunicated. And that is the worst thing to have happen to your family.
I think the worst thing about cults is that it breaks families up because parents will stop talking to children and things like that. It's really sad. So if children leave a cult, the parents won't be allowed, well, sometimes just decide not to talk. It's not like they're doing it because that's what should be done. It's like they actually believe they shouldn't be talking to their children anymore for leaving.
Yeah, because they've been brainwashed. Their brainwashing's got them. Yeah,
it's really sad.
Yeah.
Manipulative, and it's the hardest one to break free of, in my estimation. If they can make you afraid, you won't listen to the people trying to deprogram you. They get you by showering you with attention and affection. Love bombing is what they call it. You'll hear every positive affirmation ever. You don't want to lose that, right? So that's briefly what they are. And for more in-depth info, go to the Freedom of Mind Resource Center. Now that we're all on the same page, let's get down to it. Instead of letter by letter, I'll show you some clips and tell you, a little bit about where I think they fit. Remember now, you don't need all four, as any of these indicators are a reason to worry. Obviously, the easiest thing to show is I for information, as they put out a metric ton of bullshit every minute. Let's start with an example of how one would announce themselves and who they are. So we know.
I am Judge Light Tajiri Bay, in propria personas juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredis. I and all Moorish American nationals are both Aboriginal and indigenous to this land of North America, Asia, Amexem, ancient Morocco, the North Gate. We are the descendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the Moabites and Canaanites. We are the executors, ministers, trustees, claimants, beneficiaries, and heirs to our own vast estate, which is all land, all natural resources, to include all gold, silver, oil, minerals, water, crops, and ancient finds. And we are the rightful heirs to all commercial contracts at North America, South America, Central America, and the adjoining islands. We are exercising all of our sovereign rights and benefits at this time and at all points in time. Our great prophet Noble Jew Ali was brilliant. He did indeed give us a masterfully executed example to follow to free ourselves. When he placed the Religious Corporation Affidavit of Organization 1010-5905 on the record in Chicago, this very act made us our own freestanding government at North America. The document did indeed not incorporate the Moorish temples.
Yeah, so Crazy Eyes is not only mistaking her wish list for historical evidence of territories, but has gotten really dangerous in learning a few Latin words and stringing them together to reference law she doesn't understand. But hey, it sounds official, so maybe someone will be intimidated enough by the language to believe she knows what she's talking about. And may I please ask them to turn off notifications before they start filming with their...
Okay, that there's something that even Marvel Girl has missed is the fact that this person has called sovereignty. You cannot have sovereignty without having your own borders. It's something that's intrinsic in even the UN says it. To be sovereign, you must have your own borders, your own laws, your own currencies, your own this, your own that to become sovereign. To be a sovereign citizen, you cannot abide by the laws of some other country. And therefore, if you are living in a country and you claim to be sovereign, where are your borders? Where are your loyalties? Where is this? Where is that? And this is something I hope she picks up on. But this is where sovereign citizens fall down, is that in someone else's country, guess what? You have got no rights if you claim that you're sovereign.
But are they not claiming that the whole of the continents of North and South America are their sovereign territory? I think that's where where the Moors are actually that they're going to the whole of North and South America as their own sovereign territory, and that the governments are already there, usurped it, and are illegal.
Yeah, but unless you have title to said country, guess what? You're not sovereign.
Well, yeah, we realise that, but I think they might be having a craniorectal inversion. I think that's the term.
Well put.
I freely admit that is not one of mine. That's one of guy off movie night that I forget his name, but yeah, definite case of craniorectal inversion.
Oh, your head's where your ass is, and your ass is where your head is?
Correct.
Delusions of grandeur.
On with the stupid.
Yeah, but wouldn't it just be ass about face?
Yes, that's very good.
Is that just like calling Is that just calling someone a shithead?
Yeah. Yeah, see, we got simpler terms.
Oh my God. It took us a decade to get them to sometimes not film in portrait. How long you guys think it's going to take us to get them to not have these things ringing in our ears? Put your guess in the comments. But there's just no actual facts to be found here. But I digress. This is how Crazy Eyes says all Moors should behave when talking to anyone with actual authority. And catch her saying she's a vet.
I'm Renula White Bay. I'm here with Judge Light Tajiri Bay.
Looks like a bloke.
And we'll be going over the weaponized piece.
What? It's a bloke?
It looks like a bloke. The one on the right.
Yeah.
Statement of persona jurisdiction for all Moorish American nationals.
Yes, we're very excited about it. I am Judge Light Tajiri Bay with the Moorish National Republic Federal Government and the Moorish American Consulate. And we are going to be spreading this all over our land. All Moors are to learn the statement that we're going to be using in this demonstration. And this is the only thing that we should be saying to the colonizers when we are forced into those venues. If we're not forced into those venues, we don't go. We let our paperwork speak for us. And we're going to go over the statement and show you exactly how to use it when you're in those venues. This statement is good for when you're being pulled over. You can put this statement on a 3.5 by 5 index card. You don't ever have to speak. You just take the index card and stick it up to your window. Do not let your window down. When policy enforcers stop you, you just put that up to the window and let that be all that is said. Don't answer any questions. Don't talk to them. Put that statement up in your in your window so that they can read it, and they are not to violate that, because we are indeed a standing government on this land.
Pause.
Yeah, well, you can go. I'll go next.
Yeah. All right. First things first. Yes, I understand that people think that this woman is a man.
Besides that.
I know people were thinking it.
Oh, we don't want to go down that road because we know
No.
which side of the fence usually does.
Yeah.
Can't
we
judge.
won't go down that road. But the thing is, you cannot legally, whether you're sovereign or not, put up a piece of paper to say, no, you cannot search me because I'm a sovereign citizen. Because guess what? Someone has politely asked you to wind your window down and show you the license.
So some of the claims they make is that if you present all of the evidence that they'd normally ask for, e.g. license and registration and proof of insurance, with that piece of paper at the same time, cases, and then they don't have a legal standing on. Now, I'm not knowing of the American system. Wouldn't work in Australia at all. But is that accurate? Is that true? Or
Yeah, that's completely accurate. If a law enforcement officer requests you for your license and registration to be allowed to drive on the roads that are provided by the government of the United States of America, you must provide said information, whether you're sovereign or not.
so placing them all up against the window all at once, so that the police officer can see every piece of information all at once. Is that pass, or is that
No, you
not
have to
pass?
verbally verify these actions. A police officer will not talk to you through a window. You must wind it down. Part of their legal role.
Yeah, I've seen them wind the window down, and they usually just wind it down just far enough so you could hear them and talk.
And the funny thing is, the police officer actually has the legal right to smash that window and retrieve your car keys and tell you cannot drive on these taxable roads.
There is evidence on that on YouTube. I've seen that.
Yeah, I've seen similar things to that. They go a bit overboard, some of these people that claim sovereign citizen stuff.
Yeah, unless you got a lot of money, you can't be sovereign.
Yeah, unless you've got a really good reason for doing something.
They pulled you over for any reason. Your car could be unregistered.
No,
doing a drink driving test.
I mean, like things like getting out of the car and what have you. Last time I got pulled over driving a car, yes, and I was going faster than the speed limit. They caught me out because there's a awkward downhill change of speed limit.
Oh, you're a bloody hooligan, Alan.
But yeah, well, the speed limit changes from 60 mile an hour to 40 mile from 60 mile an hour down to 30 mile an hour as you go round the roundabout and then down a hill.
Was that the only way you could get your Cortina to go fast? Was go downhill?
Yeah, that was.
That's why they call it Cortina.
But no, this was in my Qashqai. Yeah, and the policeman was like, "Could you get out and come and sit in our car and have a talk with us?" And it was like, "Well, I would, but you'd have to help me get my wheelchair out the back of the car, and I wouldn't be able to get in your car anyway." So I was like, "Oh, okay then. I'll just go speak to my colleague, and then we'll be over and we'll talk to you here. It will be more convenient, you know." But
yeah, you weren't claiming to be. oh, I'm special. Here, read this little notice I'm going to put up on the window.
Oh no, it was like, I am, yeah, but I can't get in your. A, I'm not going to be able to get in your car, and B, it's going to be a lot of palaver getting the wheelchair and everything out to get me from here to your car. Okay, we can stay in your car then, not a problem. Oh, fortunately, we have blow in the box. We don't have the American style, having to stand on one leg and touch your nose thing for.
Yeah, we just blow in the pipe and see what it reads.
Well, you only have to count to 10 with some of them now.
Yeah, you just got to
breath
speak.
analyzer.
Yeah, you just speak into it. Yeah,
it's heaps easier.
That's just to tell if there's alcohol in your breath, and they put you on the breathalyzer if it goes green.
Ah, okay.
Or goes red.
but they do ask you if you've been drinking.
Oh, they know. They shove it straight in your face. They talk
Yeah,
like this.
say, can you count from 1 to 10, please?
Or just talk. They just shove it in front of your face. Count to 1 or 10 or whatever.
I haven't even been asked for my driver's license for some of the times I've been pulled over lately. Well, not lately, but the last time I got pulled over. All they said was just blowing the thing, or I'm just talking to the thing, and then.
Yeah, wasn't asked last time either, and I was just wondering if it was just being lazy.
Booze busters are the worst for that. They won't get you to pull your license out normally because they'll have a car at the front. Do a registration check on the car, and if that comes back clear, they won't normally bother doing a check.
Yeah,
because they'll look at your reaction when you do a breathalyzer anyway.
Yeah, there's also the fact that they're asking you to do one particular action, which is the breathalyzer test. They're not actually pulling you over for a license check.
No, they just want to see if you've been drinking first.
They used to always ask for your license, no matter what.
The license first, and
but
then
yeah, the last time I was done
If it's just a roadside, they will ask for a license.
Yeah.
But if it's a breathalyzer, as in a booze bus, they quite often won't because it slows down the car flow too much.
Yeah, because what it is about getting numbers through and getting people to do the breath test. Whereas if you have to ask for a license, that's an extra minute that they have to wait for the car, and then they might miss someone who's a drink driver. And
being an
most guys have
an ACT driver, I was coming back from the coast, entering into the ACT, and there's a couple of small towns that you have to go through, like Bungendore and Braidwood, and the New South Wales Police set up a car on this S-bend. So as you come in the bend, that the cops are right in front of your face. Right? The last time I got pulled over there, I was in a bunch of cars, about 15 cars, and I was in the middle, and I was the only one singled out being an ACT driver. And when he pulled me over, the cop asked me for the license first, then shoved the thing in the face, and then when it was all clear, he just went off again. I looked and went, I didn't want to cause any problems because I thought that, no, don't do that. But there was one time when the cop pulled me over, and he saw me flash my lights at this driver who was going through a set of traffic lights, who then broke for the cop who was turning left. And I flashed my lights at the guy who was braking through the traffic lights. And I just come back from the dentist, and I had a mouthful of pads and and whatnot. And I went, as he pulled me over, I had to open the door. And as he got near the door, I just dropped all this blood onto the ground. He had to take a step back. And when he didn't book me on something, he just walked away and threw the license at me, and it hit the side of the car and fell on the road in front of all the passing cars. So
I've got a story about a breatho. All right, I own a V8, 2003 SS, and okay, picking up my 14-year-old from school one day. Come around the corner, there's a breatho. I see two minivans, a dirty old Toyota Camry get let through before my car. I get pulled in. A dirty old VN Commodore goes driving past. Another minivan goes driving past. they don't get pulled in. But because I'm driving the V8, I'm the one that got pulled in for a breatho. Bit sus.
Yeah.
They do pick age groups as well. You know, they do target age groups because they look for people that fit the criteria of what's normally seen to be the highest people that they'll normally catch in a drink driving
That's what I
situation.
mentioned earlier. Was that I'm 43 and I look like I'm 30, so I match that criteria.
I get it all the time myself.
So they do pick on
Oh,
certain groups.
They single people out. They do like going for that age group of young males between the ages of 20 through to about, early 40s.
Well, it's not just that. It's like when I was just talking about a different interstate driver driving in their state.
Different number plate.
Yeah,
they
do pick it out.
Let's face it, some cops are probably not able to recognise their own bias.
And an obvious V8 or something like that, they'll pick out the V8 because they'll hear it. They'll hear the V8 and they'll go, "Yep, whom? I'll get him." They do it.
Well, my car's lowered, so they do have a look at me, but it's lowered to the required height. They always the trick is for them to get a Coke can and they stick it under your car.
Do they have a Coke can handy? Do they?
They always do.
Yeah.
Always. They'll always have a can in the car.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be a Coke can.
And
it's about 4 inches.
the car has to be able to travel all the way across the can without hitting it or knocking it over.
Press play.
Also, this statement is good for foreclosures and evictions and all of that. If they cannot get past personam jurisdiction, they can't do anything else, okay? This strategy is a military strategy. However, of course, we're peaceful people, but it's a military strategy in that I used to be in the Air Force many years ago, and they always taught us that when you are captured, that you are to give your name, rank, and serial number repeatedly, no matter what question they ask you. So that's going to be our strategy, except we don't have names, we don't have ranks, and we don't have serial numbers or social security numbers. So we're going to give them our appellation, a command, and then another command, okay?
I'll save you the bad acting as she and Grandma Moses, I don't know, her sister, enact how they will commit contempt of court with their weaponized peace personam jurisdiction, whatever. She then goes on to say that this can be used from getting pulled over, and tells you how to act if you want to get your windows busted and be arrested, to foreclosures and evictions, especially if you want your stuff thrown on the sidewalk and to be arrested. If you want to waste another 12 minutes, the link's going to be in the description. The behavior control is evident in that one, but she's also doing her people a massive disservice by giving out the fraudulent info she does. The next is screenshots of a back and forth between her and an actual Native American. The nerve she has to pull this crap on someone who is legitimately indigenous is insane. She has the audacity to tell someone who is demonstrably more entitled to be here than she is that they're going to be deported if they don't declare fealty to the Moore organization voice. Another problem I hear people come on the most is the way Moors believe that our laws don't apply to them, but they seek protection under them. The very same government they claim has no jurisdiction or standing should fight for them, protecting their what? Rights? Here we see our favorite judge, Empress, Vizier, whatever, talking out both sides of her multifaceted.
as there's a lot of Moors with public notification pages on their website, so you can do it there. Some people posted in the newspaper their claims onto that estate as well to give everybody opportunity to rebut it. You can put it on you can put it on YouTube. You can just read it out on YouTube and then share it everywhere. There's a multitudes of ways to put it in the public forum, and the newspaper to me is so elementary at this point that I would never even waste my fiat on putting it in the paper, because Facebook is good enough, YouTube is good enough, Scribd is global, so you're putting it everywhere. And no, foreigners outside, they're not claiming property because they know it's all getting seized up by the government. And why should they pay? Think about this lawfully. Why should you pay? Think about this, y'all. Why should you pay a corporation that no longer has jurisdiction and no longer has standing to even be completing deeds on a property? Why would you pay them and they can't, and you have no claim? I'm just saying, y'all. So y'all sit here and go to these so-called sheriff sales. Y'all sit here and go to these so-called realtors. They cannot give you a lodio possession of property. They can only give you hypothecation and fraud. So stop going there.
What the fuck is hypothecation?
As I've stated, according to them, everyone not a Moor is illegal and has no standing. They are the true authority, the de jure government. Be one of them and you're golden. Be anything else, you're doomed. And if you're an Albion, that's a white person. You're to be sold at auction. Let's talk about the rewards of being a Moor. Another factor in emotional control. What they do by telling the people, if you're a Moor, you are nobility. And it gets right to the heart of the matter. This is a group of people desperate to be special, to feel important. And then you have a guy, Noble Drew Ali, telling them they are. They're actually secretly descendants, heirs of nobility. He doesn't know you or your family, but yes, you too are descendants of royalty. Kings, queens, pharaohs, sultans, emperors and empresses, lords. If it ruled, it was your ancestor. But if everyone is nobility, nobody is, right? The quote-unquote ruling class was just that. And we don't have a feudal system, but even if there was one, who would they be ruling? That's easy. Us. Anyone not a Moor. Not only would they be in charge, we would be put on the auction block because it's such a peaceful, loving, moral thing to do, and we all saw how well it worked before. Like I said, if you're one of them, you are important. And Sharon Tracy Gale Bay is a self-appointed judge, a vizier, grand sheik, and empress, to name just a few. She's appointing sheriffs, marshals, and other officials now.
So the Sharifian, now Light wanted to add, Light Tajiri Bey, the vizier of West region, MXO, wants to add peace in the Sharifian peace officers. So it's going to be the Sharifian peace officers, and they're going to have these shirts. We're going to be walking around with these shirts, and on the back, because on the back of mine, it has Moorish American Consulate, nationalities, the order of the day, and then it has my phone number on the back. But on the back of those shirts, it's going to have Sharifian peace officers. It's going to have Sharifian peace officers. I'm compiling the information. We had several hundred individuals volunteer to be a Sharifian peace officer.
Before Sharon Tracy Gale Bay and her consort, Mr. Pitts, were arrested for risking a catastrophe when they used Twitter, Facebook, and other social media to get their followers to show up and act as a human shield when the sheriff showed up to evict her from her house, the one that she was squatting in ever since she defaulted on a mortgage and claimed it as her right. When authorities arrived, the group got loud, and it became evident that another MOVE organization type incident could happen. And for those of us who don't remember, MOVE was another Black liberation anti-government group who held a siege in a West Philadelphia residential neighborhood. The police ended up dropping 2 bombs, leaving 11 people dead, including 5 children. So when confronted by the mob of Moors, police decided that, discretion being the better part of valor, they'd wait. They did. And when they raided the house at dawn, she told SWAT officers, "I'm making a citizen's arrest. You're all under arrest." Her sycophants raised the money to bond her out. Her consort, not as important to the cause, so he's still in jail. But Sharon announced that she dismissed her case and was out, and her followers believed it. Now that falls under both behavior and information control. She needs her people to come to her for everything from news to, daily shit. Like this girl, all of about 12 years old.
And unfortunately, it appears you're going to learn the hard way, as is Sharon, that those laws are real. Here we're moving on to the next beautiful comment that Jamira Sneed made. The person speak on this video is a fraud. She don't know what she talking about. They allowed to bear arms. We are Aboriginal Moorish American nationals. This land belonged to the nationals. The only true Americans are the Moorish nationals. Everything she, Tracy Gale Bay, said was true. Y'all need to know who the nationals are. She is out. This video is fraud. She is an agent working for the government.
Maybe because of all of her run-ins with the law, she decided to go ahead and create her own police force. I don't see this going sideways. How about you? It's not like just
Very
having
sideways.
a fake badge
Yeah.
and telling people you're an officer of the law is a federal offense or anything. Wait, what? The last thing I'll bring up is information. Or misinformation, as this is their bread and butter. They have a knack for rewriting history. They also revise the present. And it's all to fit their narrative. We are special. We don't have to follow any rules. Don't trust them. And I've read the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Nowhere does it say anything about this being Morocco or of land being given to them. It can be proven it's not. I mean, just look at the beginning where it says it was written. It's just all the revisionism.
Because if their first duty is to the corporate state, if their first duty is to the corporate state, this fictitious corporation, what so-called codes are they going to enforce? The ones for which they were
What
licensed.
corporation?
So if I'm licensed to only know or only admit or acknowledge the Commonwealth of this fictitious corporation under the code, statutes, and ordinances, I'm not going to speak or even think about Constitution. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm not even going to acknowledge it. Because my first duty is to that fictitious corporation that's licensed to me.
Okay, you live in the US of A. They are not a Commonwealth country. Where did they get their information that the country they live in is under a Commonwealth when it's actually a sovereign nation of a Commonwealth?
Okay.
Just had to rant that.
Yeah.
And another reason why so-called attorneys can't even be under the nobility clause of the Constitution can hold an office. Why can't they hold office, y'all?
They cannot hold office because we didn't delegate them to have an office.
Why didn't we do it? Why did we say specifically attorneys and lawyers can never hold office in our government? Say it again? They're not trustworthy, but it's more specific. They took an oath to what? They took an oath to the bar, which is an oath to who? Right. So they took an oath to the Queen. Can they take an oath to the Constitution if they already got a predating oath to the Queen?
No.
So that's a conflict of interest, isn't it? Can they even hold an office if they can't even, if they breach it with that whole oath?
By the way, nope. Attorneys absolutely can and do hold public office. Most senators are attorneys. She's referring to the 13th Amendment, which does say that they should not hold office, but it's when it's the type of position that can create a conflict of interest. Like, say you're on the zoning commission and you're, like a rep or something, and one of your major clients is a developer, right? Maybe she doesn't like attorneys because they see right through her and her fake liens. Yeah, she has almost 50 liens filed against various entities, as she calls them. From the lady who called the police on her to Amazon, Mercedes, and the Philadelphia police force. And when I say filed, I don't mean she's really filing them. I don't think she is. Here's a couple of reasons why. She quotes the Universal Commercial Code. That's not a thing. It's the Uniform Commercial Code. And it's a felony to file false liens. So if she had filed as many as she has, somebody would have noticed and she'd be back in prison. Virgo's done a great video about this. I'll put the link in the description, of course. She believes, and I agree, that she sends something, probably blank papers, so that she can get the receipt from registered mail, to show her followers so they believe her bullshit. If you'd like to take a look at her insanity, I'll put a link to her Scribed account below. You can look at all the liens. I end with a question. Are there ex-Moors? Is leaving the Moor movement as perilous as leaving, say, Scientology or the LDS? Not that it would tip the scales, as one of the ways cults hide that they are a cult is by saying, hey, people can and have left us. We can't be a cult. But ex-Moors aren't even spoken of. So do they exist? So in closing, I want to remind you that even one of the indicators could be proof it's a cult. It's a red flag at least. And I believe that even with as quick and cursory a look as I gave you, it shows a bunch of signs. Don't forget the script they run through whenever they're approached by cops, their claims that this is Morocco, and the fact that they're considered a domestic terrorist organization. I see a lot of red flags. Do you? So yeah, this was a marathon, and I hope you crossed the finish line. If you did, what do you think is the worst thing? Or did you find something positive? What was the biggest red flag that you saw, and did I make my case? Now, I really need to thank my patrons. You really helped me more than you know. And I'm extremely excited about our first Patreon-only voice chat coming next week. If you'd like to get in on that and support the channel, please check out the link in the description. Remember, hit that thumbs up as hard as you see fit. And sub if you're new. And please share, because sharing is caring. And as always, thanks.
Yeah. I think we'd need more information about this group that she's talking about.
The Moors?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say they're a cult unless I knew a lot more about them. They could be just a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, well, idiots are bountiful these days. The Moors have been around 15, 20 years trying to prove this sovereign shit. But it's only they're being able to get onto YouTube and Twitter and that have made them become more prevalent. Sort of like Flat Earth. They've become more prevalent because of social media.
Yeah, well,
go on, Alan.
I was going to say, unfortunately, although the internet as a whole has been a brilliant explosion of communication amongst all of the people of this planet. You know, because here I am in the UK talking to all you guys in Australia, live and reviewing videos from somebody who's in the US. We would have not been able to do that before the internet. Unfortunately, it also means that the crazies also have access to it. And I don't see how we can stop them having access to it.
Can't because of the Freedom of Information Act.
Well, the Chinese do it.
Yeah.
They lock down the internet.
Yeah, but I mean, in a free society, well, it doesn't even have to be democratic. It just has to be free, in so much as it generally allows communication without too much in the way of censorship and control. You know, unfortunately, you can't. And personally, my view is you shouldn't stop the crazies having access, because they have just as much right as we do. You know, unless they've committed some actual crime that that preventing their access to the internet would be a reasonable thing to do.
In I think July or June last year, they brought in legislation that ISPs now have to keep 2 years of records of your browsing history.
Yeah, metadata.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you get that as well over there? I think we got something like that here.
Yep.
I know they've been pushing it because...
Yeah, we can't even get torrents anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, there are ways around it, but if you get caught, you're in for a shitload of trouble.
No, not really.
No. They only go after the major ISPs like Big Pond, IINet, Dodo, those. The ISP that I'm with is relatively very small, and they don't do anything. So they're starting to block major file sharers, but VPNs fix that.
Yeah, that's actually something really tricky. Is VPN is actually a tricky piece of legislation that hasn't been brought in yet.
Generally the VPN is not in your country, so those laws don't apply.
Yeah, and that is something that the government is actually looking into, which is not a good thing for people wanting to be incognito.
But how do you do that without bringing in censorship? i.e. locking out parts of the things you can and cannot do on the internet. There's lots of valid reasons why you have VPNs.
Yeah, but the moment someone uses that to do something illegal...
People are using that to do something illegal all the time, aren't they?
A lot of people use it for banking.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
How do you separate out?
Well, where's the fine line? Where do you start?
Yeah, well,
that's why people get so nuts about them messing with these things even a tiny bit, because they're so worried about it being a slippery slope.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. You being on a VPN is like you being a sovereign citizen on the internet.
I never looked at it that way.
That's
Yeah, but by blocking that right is restricting your rights.
Yeah, you
Is
should be
censorship.
entitled to your privacy online, just like you do to what you write in your diary. Like, it's no different.
And in
You
the
could be
same
writing a recipe for a bomb down in your diary. That doesn't mean that nobody should be allowed to have a diary.
it's also a bit like not having your phone number put into a phone book. You know, you can elect not to have your phone number put into a phone book because you want your privacy. So,
But guess
no,
what?
it's a
An
similar
auto
type of
dialer can find that phone number.
yeah, only because they dial sequential numbers anyway.
And then guess what happens once that auto dialer finds your private phone number?
Well, I don't answer because only the people with numbers that come up that I know I answer to.
Yeah, but even if it doesn't answer, what happens is that they have programs that go, oh, it got a ringtone. I'll continue to ring it once a week at this time, every
There's a
week.
thing called blocking numbers you don't recognize.
Yeah, but not everybody has access to that sort of stuff.
True.
You can actually just call up your provider and say, I keep getting a scam call from this phone number. Can I have it blocked from my phone? And that will work with the home phone, and on most of your smartphones, they'll you can do it yourself.
Yeah, and what that and the unfortunate thing is these people that do these ringing scams, and Mudcrap will probably agree with this, is that all they do is they use another phone number to make that phone call, and they just do it over and over again, and they have programs that create phone numbers to make those phone calls, because it's the same as hackers. Like, it doesn't matter how good the security is on your computer, no matter how many antiviruses and that you have, there's always a hacker trying to hack that program. And that's the same with phone calls. And because now it's all digital phone calls with most countries, that they just run programs that run 24 hours a day, pinging your phone number with a different, it'll either be a mobile number or a landline number or even a sat phone number. And yeah, it's just a cycle that never ends.
We got any more to watch?
Oh, there's a few more in there.
Is Chip Muncher out in the side chat lurking?
Yes.
We've got room to fit him in.
I have to ask him.
You want to come in, Globy Head? Yes?
Yeah, he's sick and tired of abusing me in there.
Oh, okay. Why can't I add him? What's going wrong here?
You'll have to chuck somebody. You'll have to leave. You have to have somebody who's no longer in the call, and have them leave the group or throw them out of the group, so that we have space in the group for somebody else to come into.
Oh.
Is Bandsaw even here?
Yeah, I've got 1, 2,
He's in the
3, 4,
call.
5,
He's just
6,
muted.
7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, okay.
Okay, Surf left the group, so now you've got room
Surfy's
for
left.
Globed to come in.
Oh, now I can, yeah, now it's letting me. Where is he? Is he somewhere? Oh, which icon do I use? I suppose the one with the light on it.
Hello.
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 You've been lurking
Hello, hello.
out there keeping the peanut gallery happy.
Yeah. Just mucking around with Peter.
John's out there too.
Trying to keep me honest in the chat.
Dansor's offline on in Discord.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Oh, wakey, wakey, bandy, bandy.
It showed him offline.
Yeah, no, he's just got it clicked offline.
Oh yeah, private.
Yeah. Or else he wouldn't still be sitting in the chat.
Well, you work out which one you want, and I'll be back. I've got to go and attend to the patient.
All right, I've got to go attend to another beer.
Right, everyone left.
Who's going to
Everyone
mind?
got it.
Who's minding the fort?
Alan's here. It's all good.
Okay. Poor Alan.
Any choices,
This is
people?
stupid shit. It's fucking totally stupid.
I'll have to get you some new ones, Alan.
Yeah.
So, choices, people.
Oh, look, I've still got clouds outside. I can't see the fucking moon.
I don't know, but whatever you choose, make it short and full of dumb shit.
Well, there's one here with The Strange World of Mark Sargent, special guest. And on top of it, it's Ranty's Flat Earth.
All right. Ranty's funny.
I see Furbill made a correction to his what was his test he's doing?
To his Cavendish.
Yeah.
That's a Cavendish experiment.
Yeah, it was 6 millimeters, not 6 centimeters.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit.
It's a bit much.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit much. 6 centimeters. That's an awful lot.
It's only one order of magnitude out.
Yeah, I know, but that's a lot of gravity for such a small fucking for a small mechanism.
Mistake JM made. He just got the decimal place in the wrong place.
Hey, it's easy to do.
Right, it was.
But that's what peer review and correction is for, isn't it?
Well, he actually picked it up himself, so he actually.
Yeah.
Published it, but it was a bit more than just one decimal place being out of place because it was.
It threw out all his calculations.
Yeah.
Well, it would.
He did say on his thing though that next time when he's got a post that's got a lot of maths that's involved, that he'll get someone else to go over it.
Yeah, he spoke about that. He said he was going to get Where's Wally to do the counterclaim. In other words, to take his measurements and then go over the digital calculation.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting, the whole, like, following the whole lot through. It's phenomenal what he's actually been able to achieve.
Yeah, because he's actually sealed up the room too.
Yeah. Well, he was. I think he was saying that when the air conditioner out in the main area of the house was turning on and off, it was affecting the Cavendish even through.
Hang on a sec. He wasn't in the house. He was in a flat.
In a flat, yeah.
In a unit.
Yeah,
but
but that would also throw off because he couldn't control the other parts of the building. So,
Yeah, because he's halfway up. He's about a third of the way up a 15-story block.
Yeah.
From what he said.
Which will throw off other measurements, but the experiment still works. We still know that the experiment works.
Oh yeah, I mean he's made his absolute best effort
Oh, of course.
to isolate the entire system from any outside influence.
I was just doing the critical part where some flat earther might say, "Oh, but you were in a building there, Earth was moving too." So.
Trust the singularity to bring in the question.
Well, it's a valid one.
Yes, Quasar, you are valid.
Do I have to validate myself?
Oh, unless you want to be
Singularity,
invalid.
that was singularity. That was the bloody word I was looking for earlier on when I got stuck.
A quasar's not a singularity.
Yeah, but it's caused via a singularity.
Oh, okay, yeah. But not directly.
No, but see, I broke you down into one of your parts.
Ooh, the critical.
Not to mention all the stars that are floating around you and all the gas clouds and all that shit, but
I'm the brightest shining thing in the universe.
the brightish.
I had to get my words out properly.
Yeah, you're actually the thing. You're actually the thing that was produced before the stars were actually produced. Believe it or not.
Also, is the brightest star because with his noble gas.
No.
Yeah.
Brightest
don't
galaxy.
Don't bring
See?
noble gases into
He lights
it.
his noble gas. You know what his noble gas is?
Quasars were the mothers of all galaxies.
No. But even Lawrence Krauss has stated that there was a quasar prior to galaxies actually being formed. Which makes you very, very old, Quasar. You're older than like 60.
No, a quasar is an elliptical galaxy.
What?
Sorry.
What?
They elliptical. They were round. They weren't flat like a sombrero galaxy.
Sombrero.
It's impossible.
And they were very small too. They weren't the size of.
Yes, they're
They
globular.
weren't the size
yes.
of like Andromeda or the Milky Way. But they outshone galaxies like Andromeda and the Milky Way.
Oh, you and your brightness.
Oh, I'm so bright.
Says you. You and your globularness.
That's it, globular is what I'm looking for. It's late at night. Next.
Words.
Waiting for Terry.
Blah, 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 blah.
No.
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 Does anyone else get heebie-jeebie legs?
I do.
Describe heebie-jeebie.
Restless leg
Hello,
syndrome.
Flat Earth researchers,
Yes.
debaters and debunkers. It's time to do some primary school science.
Oh,
Go away.
Phuket
Joe.
word, you wouldn't
Joe,
even know what primary school science was, mate. You're a fucking retard.
I don't think I'm going to have a very good night with it because I just got a little bit of it here sitting awake. That's not a good sign.
Have you seen those tights that people wear when they're in hospital for a long time? Compassion. Yeah, sometimes doctors
socks.
prescribe them.
I don't think I'd like that.
What happens? I wore them when I had my operation. My legs were kicking around everywhere.
Sometimes I think magnesium helps, but it's probably just more a confirmation bias placebo thing. But I take it anyway when I've got it going on.
Yeah, I'm meant to wear them bloody compression socks too.
How do you think I'm gonna feel once I have my ankle fused? I've got 6 months of walking on one fucking leg.
That's gonna suck.
Okay,
6
so
hours.
the first 12 weeks, I can't put any weight on the leg, and then for 4 months after that, I can only do a particular amount of hours on that foot.
Oh. Do you really, really need to get the operation?
Yeah,
it's not going to be fun.
The cartilage is gone,
Oh.
and at my age, it's better off to do the fusion than to do the reconstruction, because the reconstruction will just wear out, and then they have to do it again in 5 years' time. So you're better off doing the fusion and walking like you're flat-footed, because I'm already doing that. So
physio and swimming for you.
We'll have to get you a zinger.
No, because apparently, even though it restricts the ankle movement, you still basically walk the same as if before you had the operation. So it's just you've got no upward flexion in the ankle.
One of my friends walks around like, I don't know, it's hard to describe. Like he can't bend his knees and he has to like waddle along. Right? It's so freaking funny. Looks like he's got he's carrying something in his pants.
Oh, it's like he's
That
got a
must
stick
be
up his
really
ass.
bad for the head.
I was going to say that. Sorry, Alan.
Because that must be rough on his hips.
Yeah,
because if you can't bend your knees, you have to kind of swing over onto one, swing yourself over on your hip to swing your leg through, and then do the same on the other hip to swing your
We're
other leg
always
through.
waiting to catch up.
Yeah, you and your walking.
Well, I don't walk that fast because of my back, but he can't. Like he walks half the speed I do.
Yeah, I like that. I don't walk as fast because of my back, but he's got no knees.
Just cut me off the knees and call me tripod.
Terry, hurry back.
Hurry up. We're descending fast.
Huh? What?
What happened?
What did I miss out on?
Nothing.
Okay.
Debauchery and all the normal chatter.
Okay. Just as usual.
Just talking about being old and getting deformities.
No link, Terry.
No.
No.
Okay, give me a second to set it all up.
Hello, researchers, debaters, and debunkers.
No, not him. His voice drives me nuts.
Well, I didn't put it in here. Blame Baller for that.
Has anyone watched Mr. Sensible's Cheese Awards video?
No, not yet.
He puts on the bit where Phuket Word does his weighing of the pesto jar, saying that the box has mass, and then when he takes the pesto jar off, the scales go to 0, and he goes, "Oh shit, the scales have gone to 0." Because the box was supposed to actually make the scales weigh something.
But he teared it out, did he?
Yes, he teared it out. Even though it was already teared. But the pesto had already had something taken out of it, so the weight he was getting was not correct anyway. And yeah. It's fuckwit Word anyway. He's a fuckwit.
Don't panic! Don't panic!
Oh shit, Ranty.
We should play the Channel 9 interview of Mark Sargent too one time.
Studio 10.
Oh, well, 10, whatever.
Yeah. Did we have that in here at one stage?
We'll set it up
Look
for next week.
Oh my god, I've just seen how long this bloody video is.
Oh, yeah, I'm not watching all this.
Don't panic.
I think we might be skipping.
Don't panic! Don't panic!
Oh dear, no, son, never mind.
What's his name, Alan?
That was the late great Windsor Davis
Yeah, that's
playing
it. Yeah, he's hilarious.
Battery Sergeant Major Williams.
Yeah.
Mr.
What was
Mannering,
that show
Mr.
called?
Mannering.
Don't panic! Don't
What was the
panic!
show called? Oh, I can't remember.
Hey, it ain't our fault, Mum.
That's it. That's it.
They don't like it up the jungle.
Yeah.
Play.
Set in Burma at the end of World War II.
Yeah, it's freaking hilarious. They
I
used
don't,
to
I
do
don't
that.
remember that show over here that much. That one.
It was here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Set in the
because we mostly remember Dad's Army.
Yeah, we remember Dad's Army more.
yeah, well, so do we.
But that's.
Don't tell him.
And the one with
Don't tell him your name, Pike.
and the other one with the French ones of
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, but that was early on, Terry. So you might not have seen that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Where have you hidden the fallen Madonna with the big boobies?
I've got the 10-minute from the Channel 10 of Mark Sargent on the morning show, if you want to watch that instead.
Does anyone want to sit
No,
through an hour and a half of this, or go through doing?
No, chuck Mark Sargent on. We'll save this one for next week.
Whack Marky Poo on.
Yeah. Save this one for next week. Well, we are running late because we were running late.
Well, this one only goes for 10 minutes, so.
Oh well, we'll have just some quickies then for now.
Yeah, and we can laugh at a physics a physicist tell Mark Sargent he's wrong.
Yeah.
So this was back in on May the 22nd this year.
You don't want to skip this Booking.com apartment
Long ago.
On
in the
Channel
old
10?
town with a washing machine.
Yeah, Studio 10.
Walking around on
Was it
Earth.
10?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, this is Studio 10.
Studio
It's got
10
that-
on.
That ditzy bird doing a what's her
She's
fucking
not
name?
ditzy.
She
I
is
know,
so.
I thought she's pretty down to earth.
She probably thinks the Earth is flat along with Mark Sargent. She's just smiling to make everyone look happy. See, look at her. Looks like a.
No,
what a
not
slag.
her. No, they did. No, this is the wrong one.
But this is the one.
No,
This
they
is
did
Mark
another
Sargent
one.
versus the physicist.
No, they did another one.
They did another one.
Yeah, I think it was Channel 9. The morning
I'll-
show.
Well, I'll look for that one while we're playing this one.
Yeah, because you could hear the film crew like giggling in the background.
And then we can do that one
Laughing.
next.
It might be cut out, I don't know. But you could hear them like that, trying to hold their smiles. Like, are you sure you yeah, like.
Okay, when you're ready.
Go.
Go.
Does she look like she's kissing ass?
Yeah.
She's blowing you a kiss.
Walking around on Earth,
thanks.
you notice that
That's
it
a cat's
looks and
bum.
feels flat, and this has led to millions around the globe to believe that the world is flat.
What?
The Flat
The world
Earthers
flat?
movement is documented in the Netflix movie Behind the Curve.
Sky is the limit. Probably literally.
Ah, I see what you did there.
Why is it expanding the way it is?
If you get online, you'll see so-called evidence that seems scientific, and you go, huh, maybe they're onto something there.
They find this audience that takes them as gospel.
I just want to feel comfortable in things that I believe.
We're trying to get to the point where it's accepted.
It's today's conspiracy theory that we're tackling as part of our Conspiracy Week series, and we have people from both sides. We have flat earther Mark Sargent, who joins us live from Seattle, as well as our space expert, Brad E. Tucker. Nice to see you.
He's cool.
Mark, let's go to you first. What exactly is the flat Earth model?
Sure.
No, they
The
haven't
flat
got a
Earth
model.
model says that we are not living on this little blue globe flying through space at incredible velocities in an impossible universe. We are living on a stationary,
Snow globe.
flat, round disc that is covered by
Snow cone.
a dome, and it's, despite what your model says there, it's not floating in space. It could be sitting anywhere. It could
Where's
be
the
sitting on my
elephants
desk
and
right
the
now.
turtles?
There you go.
And Mark, when
He
did you
doesn't
first
believe.
come across
Imagine
the
the strength
flat
of
Earth
gravity
theory,
of
or
the
is it
egg.
something you developed yourself?
Hey, wait a minute. That's
No,
not the
I didn't invent
UN.
the flat Earth theory by any stretch. I looked into it in 2014, and like most
Gravity would
people in
get
the flat Earth
stronger as you
theory,
got to
I
the
tried to
edge.
disprove it.
Everything
Yeah.
would be crushed.
And thought I could shoot it down
Yeah.
in a weekend. And
Idiots.
9 months later,
Idiots.
I created something called Flat Earth Clues, which was a series of videos that asked the internet hive mind, hey, tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I made a mistake here.
Notice how he totally
And
avoided
that was in the
actually
beginning of
giving a really
2015,
good model.
And 4 years later,
What
we
was
Of
that?
course he did.
Notice how he start when they asked him for his model. The first thing he did was say, "We're not living on a globe."
Yep.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
They
but
haven't
also-
got a model.
Because what? Because all they do is
No.
He could have been honest and
It's
said, no, we don't
impossible.
have a model.
Yeah, he gave no evidence of the actual model. He just showed a model of a snow
And-
globe.
Yeah, snow
And
globe.
Yeah.
mentioned his YouTube videos.
And also he presented the model that he himself manufactures and sells.
Oh.
Yes,
Product-
and his 9
product
months of
placement.
research.
Product placement.
I think Aussie Globe has shapes as it all with the tongue poking out.
Play.
We have we've got 9 conferences this year. We have a documentary, tons of podcasts, and we're growing like crazy.
So actually, I'd just like to interrupt here. Like, one of the points here is that you're communicating to us via satellite and via a round globe, right? There is no way for your signal to get here right now to our studio via a flat surface.
Unless most of the communications are done with fiber optics in the water, which they are. Satellites, by the way, I don't say that I don't believe in satellites. I'm just saying that the NASA high altitude balloon program, which has been going on since the 1950s, can carry a lot more bandwidth and a lot more payload than rockets ever could.
That's right. And I worked on that project.
What?
Thank you.
You were talking about satellites,
In fact, you know what? We actually had someone. So Felix Baumgartner, he was this, essentially NASA got a crazy Austrian to jump from a large balloon. And one of the cool things in the video you see is he sees the curvature of the Earth from these high altitude balloons. Like you can actually go. You can actually go on now.
I sent a snapshot of the Felix Baumgartner jump, the Red Bull jump, and it's interesting because the curvature of the Earth from there, from 130,000 feet, is so severe that it means the entire world is about the size of Arizona. And so I also sent a video and the balloon thing, which you just saw. Look, we've got balloon footage at 120,000 feet.
Liar.
It is absolutely flat. So who's right? Felix Baumgartner, severe curvature, or us? And it's not even us that send up the balloons.
Well, it's me because I'll
There-
show you in a
there you go.
second. I took a photo
That's the curvature
where
of
you
the
can
Earth.
see the curvature. And I think this is the
That's
cool
the curvature
thing.
right there. Sorry, roll that back. That's the curvature of the Earth at 130,000 feet, right there.
Yep.
No, not a chance.
Mark, I'm going to ask, have you
That's only 39
ever
kilometres.
reached the
Yeah, well, that image is done with one of those GoPro cameras or whatever they call them, isn't it? To get that image. Or
Yeah,
whatever they call it.
it's a fisheye type. It's a non-rectilinear lens. Yes.
Yeah, but 130,000 feet is higher than the SR-71 can go.
The spy plane.
Yeah, which is the
Yeah.
highest altitude plane.
Yeah, well, it uses the atmosphere to power the jets, so you couldn't go any higher than the atmosphere anyway.
But he's at 130,000 feet.
Which is,
Yeah.
40.
Which
But
is actually
39
nowhere near the Kármán line.
Yeah, but still very, very fucking high.
Wouldn't you be scared of
Oh.
missing the Earth at that height?
I would.
Well, you know,
Sorry.
didn't Douglas Adams say, "Flying is throwing yourself at the ground and missing"? That was in one of the Hitchhiker books.
Well, that's the orbital, isn't it?
Well, that is the orbital. That is
Yeah.
actually an orbital. But Arthur Dent learns to fly because he falls out of something, and his tail magically appears in front of him, and he grabs it, and he is so astounded by something so impossible happening, he forgets to hit the ground.
The thing is, whether it's a fisheye lens or not, it's still fucking curved.
That's like the Irish parachuters jumped out of a plane and missed the Earth. Sorry,
Well,
guys.
well, as Buzz Lightyear said, it's just falling with style.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, gravity. You always bring us down to earth, don't you, mate?
Was that your favourite movie, is it, Toy Story?
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's good.
Can't wait for Toy Story 4.
Oh, because you want the gay sport.
I beg your pardon.
The what?
Have you not seen that? Have you not seen
Oh, the
that
spork.
conspiracy?
Oh, I thought you said
the conspiracy
the gay
of the
spool.
gay fork,
Yeah.
because he doesn't know if he's a spoon or a fork.
Yeah, the spork. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be hilarious.
Edge of the Earth, if it is indeed flat, and is it a little bit like the Truman Show? Have we got sort of, wooden sides to the Earth? I mean, what's there at the edge of the Earth?
They just
what we're
love
talking
taking the
about here-
piss
no,
out of
we
him.
haven't reached it. Of course not. Antarctica's off limits to everybody but military and military scientists. The edge of the Earth is far
Bullshit.
beyond our
Lie.
reach. Being the Antarctic.
Isn't there civilians down there?
Yes.
There certainly are.
In fact, I thought they were mostly all civilians down there, with just a bit of military support from the US and maybe Australia and New Zealand.
The military support that they get is for supplies only.
Not quite
and
right.
research.
Not quite right.
Not quite right? Are you telling
Not-
fibs?
Not quite right. Fact, because my sergeant from the unit I used to serve at, being an engineer unit, he got a posting down there for 6 months. 6 months? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 6 months. And they took him on for all his engineering skills and stuff like that for rectification work to the buildings and stuff down there. That was
I'm
his.
not saying military people can't be seconded.
No, but that's the type of support that the Australian Defence gives to the
engineering
Antarctic area.
support.
Plus
No bombs, no guns.
He took no guns, no nothing.
No mining.
He didn't even take a defence uniform.
No penguins.
Landon Knoll's been down there, and he used a satellite phone to tell whether he was actually at the South Pole.
And he even made the phone call.
That's
Video
it.
phone call from the South Pole.
Yeah.
Well, the balloons fly down
That
around
doesn't
there too.
exist.
Well, they actually did a test, and it's the quickest way to go around the world is putting up a balloon about 10 kilometers away from the actual center, the South Pole, and they sent the balloon around the world in record time.
You're it.
That was the world record, was it?
Oh,
The
look.
world flight.
Yeah. For a
Yeah,
balloon.
directly from the South Pole.
Took about a minute and a half.
Play.
Yeah.
The coastline is just the beginning of the edge. And we are talking about something with walls and a floor and a ceiling, very similar to the Truman Show, which is why I talked about in the documentary and I talked about in my clues, which says that, look, why couldn't it be something like the Truman Show? A planetarium, we can see all sorts of fun lights on the sky. Who's to say when you walk out of a planetarium, you're just not walking into a much bigger one?
So who built the dome, do you think, Mark?
Oh, that's a big question. You really want to give that?
I'd like to jump in, right? My friends have been to Antarctica.
First off, it definitely wasn't us. It wasn't human beings. Human beings had nothing to do with the construction of this place. At that point, you're really going off into one of two areas, which is, okay, an advanced civilization that's much older than ourselves and much more powerful, or the divine. And take your pick. Really, you're just splitting hairs because one man's advanced technology is another man's deity.
And are we the only flat Earth, or are there other flat planets out there with domes? Has the deity or other civilizations built other flat Earths Flat
No,
planets
that's
with
that's
domes?
an excellent question, because first off, we would say that anything you see in the sky are just pretty lights. So Venus and Mars and Saturn and Jupiter and all those, I mean, they look spherical, but they're just part of a light show. But could there be other domes and other structures out there? Sure, why not? If I was more powerful enough to build this place, I wouldn't make it a one.
What do they say about when we look through them with telescopes and we actually see the planets?
And we see them rotate, and we see them. We see the moons go behind them and in front of them and cause shadows on.
And we've only had electricity since the 1800s.
Well, they used candles before then.
And who kept them alight? And who replaced them?
Oh, the gas lighters.
How'd they light the candle?
Boom, boom.
Oh dear.
Anyway.
Crickets, please.
One off. Not by any stretch. I'd make more than one this.
Sorry, Kate, I just want to do a thought experiment here. So
Yeah.
I think we would probably agree that a good cover-up would involve money, right? That someone is paying to cover it up, right?
Look, you put the crickets in the right spot. Oh dear. I need an extra button here for the cricket.
I always wonder why Mark Sargent looks like he's like a rabbit in headlights. His eyes are wide open.
Always surprised.
Always very uncomfortable, isn't he?
It's to show that you're attentive as a facial expression for reading people.
He has an agenda. He has an agenda.
You do that when you're trying to be attentively listening to make it sound like that you are listening, but you're not. Yes,
Information bounces off his spherical head.
Yeah. I'm interested in what you say, but I'm not going to hear a word you say, and I'm just going to replace it with my own answer.
So then people would then profit from this cover-up, right? I think that's kind of...
Yes,
profit in a way,
yes,
sure.
yes.
Yeah, right. And then so we would say that NASA is complicit in this to some degree, and so they would be the beneficiaries of this, right?
In this case, we're not covering up for profit. We're covering up for power. So yes,
power's
NASA
money.
would be built. And what I'm saying is the only reason NASA was even built, and by that we're talking about the United States military. NASA is absolutely Department of Defense.
NASA's actually civilian, by the way. You can get a job with NASA. You know that, right?
No, I'm afraid not. NASA's
I'm afraid so, because I've
absolutely
worked for
Department
them.
of Defense. Look, fine. They
So
wear
no,
white uniforms, they
I just want to
carry
finish my
guns,
line
they
of
don't-
reasoning real quick. So then, if there is money involved, and then people are paid for it. Now, if I am saying that the Earth is round, which I very much do because I've seen the photos, and the moon and other things, then where's my money? Because my 2008 Ford Focus and my mortgage would disagree that I'm profiting from this.
He's even wearing thongs.
Yeah, I can't even afford pants.
What you're saying is the cover-up would involve millions and millions of people, and I go the exact opposite. I'm saying compartmentalization, need to know. This is one of those things where less is more. You would absolutely keep the fewest amount of people involved. 99% of all the people that are working at NASA don't know anything. They polish capsules and they build fuel systems and they build rockets. The only guys that need to know are the telemetry guys and those guys above them. Scientists, pilots, and all the space agencies, except for the high brass, they don't need to know anything.
But
and by the way,
I've
NASA gets a budget of $52 million a day. I think it was been up to $54 million a day. There's money to be had here, but it's not just about money.
Well, but someone has to be making it. So I guess one of the points here is what I'm trying to make is that, you know, we can always go back and forth. You can not believe what I'm saying, and that's fine. That's not the point. What the point is, when we do in science, we create experiments that are reproducible. I can go out and tell anyone when a lunar eclipse is happening, and you can see that the moon is going to look curved. You can see that as the shadow passes over the moon, it is not flat. It's actually, there's an edge to it. I can say, you know what, for $500, you can buy an off-the-shelf balloon, a tank of helium, and attach an iPhone or a Google phone, but sometimes the Samsungs catch fire, that you can see the curvature for yourself. But you haven't given me an experiment that I can do to show what you're saying.
Okay, let's start off real quick. I don't know how much time we have, but let's run down real quick. Long distance photography.
That was a diversion.
That'd be the first one. It's the most obvious one that flat earthers jump at, which
just
is
saw an
if
image,
the curve.
That was a diversion when he said, "Oh, we haven't got much time."
Oh yeah.
He talks real fast.
Yeah, to chase an experiment.
And anything that involves electromagnetic waves being propagated close to the surface of the Earth with wavelengths of hundreds of nanometers is bound to have difficulties and problems, simply because the wavelengths are too short. But
was he going to try to use the laser?
that's what they want.
Is he going to try to use the laser test across the lake as an experiment?
No, he's
lasers, long
trying to
distance
use
photography, all of it.
Yeah, photos that are taken from an elevated height to another site. The record, which is, I think it was 178 kilometers, something like that.
No, it's like 300 kilometers.
Anyway, it was taken from about 3,000 feet or 2,900 feet.
I thought that was more like 3,000 or 4,000 meters. Remember, it's in France, so it was all in metric.
Well, it was very high to see very far.
And the thing they were looking at was very high.
Yeah, but he's going to say that it was taken from ground level. I'll put money on it.
Or is he going to just? Or is he just going to say stuff like, "This won't work on it," or "the water's flat" and all this sort of stuff? Yeah.
He's just going to claim too far. We shouldn't be able to see things that far away when actually you can. But
no.
That's part of it. Oh, technically, of course, that photograph was taken from ground level. It just wasn't taken from sea level.
Oh, you and your semantics there, Alan Evans. Oh my goodness.
Why don't they ever
play the game?
Try again. Why don't they ever come up with the argument we should be able to see this, but we can't on a flat Earth?
Because it doesn't fit their model.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. That's exactly right. There are plenty of things that they should be able to see on a flat Earth, but they can't.
Because we can only see so far.
Yeah. But they'll argue over 10 foot missing something.
Apparently the horizon line is the distance we can see, which is actually quite funny because we can see further than 3 fucking miles.
Because they've showed pictures.
But that's through the atmosphere, they will say.
Just look at the sun.
Yeah, but we've seen.
Oh, yeah.
You can see a little bit further than 3 miles.
We've seen images of 3 miles.
But that's not through the atmosphere. I heard this claim last night. I was on a stream where they had exactly that claim. You can't see through the atmosphere. What about actually it was the moon? Well, the moon's not the moon's not looking through lots of atmosphere. It's up in the sky. And anyway, it's a luminary, isn't it? It doesn't count.
They also use the excuse like they can see Polaris, but then when we go to the southern hemisphere and we can't see Polaris, they say, "Oh, we can't see that far." But we've only gone a couple of thousand kilometers. But we can see Polaris.
Assuming you're at sea level, you probably only have to go maybe 100 kilometers to go from just being able to see Polaris to not being able to see Polaris at all.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Is that you can see Polaris. Yeah, but so you can see Polaris from the northern hemisphere, but we only have to move a few kilometers to the point where we can't see it.
Yeah, just past the equator.
Yeah.
Well, they're contradicting themselves because they can see the Polaris, but we can't see it if we move a few kilometers past the equator. It's just they contradict themselves.
Yeah.
It's like the idiots.
But you can see the opposite. But you can see the opposite center of rotation in the other direction as you move those few kilometers.
Well, I mean, the people at the equator should be able to see the sun all the time, shouldn't they? Because they're right smack bang in that middle there. Okay. So if the people that are on the edge, like the South Pole or the North Pole, can see the sun for part of the time, then surely the people at the equator should be able to see the sun all the time, just about.
Oh, they'd never have night at the equator, would they? But the funniest thing is that they don't take into account Sigma Octantis. You can't actually see Sigma Octantis with the naked eye, but you can see Octantis Major with the naked eye. But how are we able to see that star, but you can't see it from the northern hemisphere?
And the galactic center at Sagittarius and the galactic center. I can't see that from up here either, can I? And I'm so disappointed.
Might be cloudy.
Who's fallen asleep?
It's Leah.
It's not me.
Was that you snoring, Leah?
I think
No.
Is it Bandy?
Oh, Bandy was asleep before.
Bandy's gone.
Has he gone?
Oh, he's still in the call, isn't he?
Ah.
Oh, no.
Well, there's only 8 of us in the call.
Okay.
Okay.
I think
continue.
It's Globy!
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay.
Let's get on with the stupid.
Yeah, well, let's see what he's going to say.
Sorry, what?
We just saw an image on screen that I took that shows its curve, but continue.
Oh, got it. Let's say the curvature of the Earth is what mainstream says, which is 8 inches per mile squared. That's not supposed to be daunting. It's 8 inches per mile, which means that 3 miles is 3 times 3, which is 9 and 72, and 10 times 10.
Something.
Wrong. That's a bloody parabola, not a freaking circle.
And guess where it comes from? The bloody Zatenic astronomy from fucking dipshit from the 1800s.
Oh, and what would Dell say?
Oh.
Oh, yes, sorry. What would Dell say?
It's impossible.
Hell, get away from that sheep.
No.
You got to get those sticky notepads on your screen.
I've got a big note. I've got a big note out that's got all of the bloody in big letters, in big font, so I can read it. Trouble is, there's like 17, but there's 17 bloody entries on it.
You have to do some editing. Continue.
I'm still learning.
3 times 3 is 9 and 72, and 10 times 10, it goes further and further to where at 50 miles, you're talking about almost 1,700 feet of curvature. And that's you're looking forward and back. Don't look about left and right now. Forward and back, which means that a boat should go over the curvature of the Earth. It goes behind the curve. It should be gone and gone forever. And yet, and I would have been totally with you there 10 years ago, but HD technology has changed that to where we can see objects way, way further. We can see objects over the hill, and don't start up with mirages, because we can see these in all weather conditions, all light conditions, almost all instant.
Stop. So much to unpack.
I know, he's thrown it all out there.
The other problem with it, his with the parabola, which does work at for reasonably close distances.
It works for your frame of reference, Alan.
It's at bloody ground level. It doesn't account for what you see when you're stood there looking at something. When you're above ground level and you have
it doesn't work 5 feet off the ground.
Exactly.
You notice also what he's saying is we can see things so far away. Can you explain that? But don't use the actual correct explanation.
Yeah, that's what.
But you can only use front to back, not left to right. What the fuck?
Yeah, what does he mean by left or right? Forget those. It'd be the same direction. What an idiot.
Yeah, horizon is a 360 degree
And when he
thing.
was bringing up
impossible.
when he was bringing up the HD technology, was he talking about the P900?
Oh, the P1000 these days, isn't it?
Well,
No.
Of course.
Oh, that's what you have to get. You have to get the off course from Martima 8081.
Oh,
Of course!
Ow!
I didn't do it.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Continue.
Distance conditions, we can target them with beam radar, we can target them with infrared, and we can destroy them with military technology. I have experts that will testify to this effect. We can do this all day long. That is a test you can absolutely do on the ground. You don't need space to do it.
All right.
How's that for stuff?
Listen, we'll have to leave that debate there. Head to our Facebook page and vote again. Has this debate changed your mind on whether the Earth is flat or not? As well, do you believe in chemtrails? Well, tomorrow we'll be debunking the chemtrail conspiracy theory as part of our next segment on Conspiracy Week. Head to our Facebook page and take the poll to cast your vote. A huge thank you to both Mark and Brad for joining us today.
I like being here in person. I appreciate it. And I say we take Studio 10 on location. We'll launch a balloon and we'll go see the curvature for ourselves.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yep.
I've got the next one in the chat.
Burn. He got absolutely burnt in that.
He started spouting his usual stuff that you could nearly remember, nearly word for word.
This next one's about 8 minutes long.
Isn't that from the Toxic Avenger?
No, it's from Troll 2.
Even worse.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie, but somebody showed me the clip, and the clip came up somewhere in a stream somewhere, and I saw it. I thought, fucking hell, I've got to have that.
Stuckman Reviews uses it in his intro a lot. That's why I've heard.
No, somebody actually showed us the video. I think there was a conversation about the worst movie ever made. And like,
well, I'm gonna drop and leave you to it because I'm so ugly. I need my beauty sleep.
Oh, well, see you next week then, Paul.
Yeah, right. If you're not careful, I'll post a picture, Terry.
Oh no!
And ruin your live stream.
Yeah, Elmo without the hand up it.
Later, mate.
Ciao.
Cheers.
Bye.
Are we ready
And then
again?
there was 7.
Bit more Mark Sargent.
Yeah, bring on the stupid.
So, we've got our props. I believe you have yours too, but this is awesome. So, first of all, explain where your belief that the Earth is flat comes from.
Sure. My belief where the Earth is flat comes from 5 different reasons, real fast. 1, long-distance photography, which is, if it is a globe, then we shouldn't be able to see as far as we can with high-def cameras. 2 would be gravity versus the vacuum of space, meaning the atmosphere should be sucked out into space almost instantly. The power of the vacuum cannot be defeated by gravity.
Impossible.
3rd would be the eclipse shadow. The eclipse shadow, it's the moon size. The moon is 2,000 miles wide, and yet the moon shadow is only 70 miles wide. That's a 97% decrease. It can't happen. 4th would be the temperature of the moon, and I know we're pressed for time, so I'll rattle off real quick. The temperature of the moon. The moon generates a cold light. Look it up yourself. And 5th would be the Van Allen radiation belts. Van Allen radiation belts are super deadly. How did the American space program go through it? Round trips. Nobody died. Nobody even got cancer. There's still 5 of them walking around today. How's that?
Good. I think you know that.
And he just pulled the time card again.
I do have a couple of other questions, Dave.
Okay.
Good
night, everybody.
Like yourself, flat earthers believe that we are actually living in a dome. So can you explain to us how that works? And the ice, there's an ice wall, is that right?
Oh dear, outside, never mind.
Mainstream globe proponents believe that you are on a little rock with water that sticks to the outside of it that's flying through 5 different directions, right? You can get rid of that. What we think is that you are living in a building, a structure, a planetarium, a terrarium, just like this. It's a little bit of a snow globe with walls and a floor and a ceiling, and that all the continents look pretty much the same with the exception of Antarctica, which is stretched around the entire outside, not like a Game of Thrones ice wall, but a very, very large continent that goes on for thousands of miles inland.
Yeah. So there's White Walkers out there. So then, when I was growing up, right? When I was growing up, Mark, and we see shots of space, and we live in a solar system with planets, and all the planets are round.
Round.
So then, how come we're flat and they're round? Or am I not seeing the right thing?
When we see shots of the Earth from space, it's a sphere.
Well, there you go. Somebody's got to be lying. And if you believe the American space program, well, you have another thing coming.
I'll bring that in again.
What I'm saying is that NASA has been fabricated since minute one to basically keep this thing under wraps.
It's impossible.
And America's not the only space program, see?
Funny, because the Russians were the first ones to actually, like, make it to orbit, so...
Yeah.
No!
Yeah, why is it only just the American space program? Has he got something against that?
Most Americans don't know the rest of what exists.
Yeah, that's true.
Alright, so the Americans in 1947 took the first orbital photo of the Earth with a V2 rocket. It was then the Russians who did the first spacewalk.
No, the Russians put the first artificial satellite in orbit.
Yeah.
And the first man in space.
Yep.
And the first woman in space. And the first spacewalk.
Yep, but apparently NASA is the one who controls it all, which is funny because the USSR were absolute pricks to the US during the space race.
Well, the Soviets hated us. We were not, and we kind of reciprocated, or at least the governmental bodies hated each other.
Yeah,
and,
but this is,
and I'm sure the populaces on either side were swayed by the propaganda of their countries.
Yeah, but how many people do you say, oh, the Russian space agency faked, was it Yuri Geller? Was that his name?
Yuri
Gagarin. Yeah, Yuri Gagarin. It was faked. He never walked outside of his fucking rocket, blah, blah, blah. They never say anything about him or about Sputnik.
Yeah, you know why?
All about NASA.
Explain that straight away. You know why they don't say anything bad about the Russians? Because they won't wake up the next morning.
There's a video out there. There's a video out there saying that the Russian was fake. I've seen it on YouTube somewhere, but there is a video out there.
Oh, really? Who was it? Come on, Globy.
I just saw it a couple months ago.
Come on, Globy.
They're going on about the Russians were fake. They're like into space, and that was all fake.
Which is funny because the Russians have actually launched more rockets than the US.
Yeah, it was an American conspiracy, Todd. The video.
I mean, let's face it, if in the 1950s and the early 1960s, if either side had been faking it, the other would have made a huge amount of fuss over it. But as it was, both sides admitted that this was true, to their detriment, to their own people.
Yeah, to two sworn enemies of each other, that they actually proved that each other was telling the truth.
Yeah.
Pretty weird, eh? Bit of a weird conspiracy.
Indeed.
Yeah, I hate you, but you're telling the truth.
Unless, of course, they are all big buddies in the Bilderberg or whatever the fuck it's supposed to be called, and they're just making us have wars for the fuck of it.
No.
No.
Did you hear about the 5 Russian scientists that got destroyed by a rocket?
No.
Yes, I've seen that one.
The Russians are trying to do a nuclear-propelled cruise missile.
Yes.
That sounds dangerous.
About now?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, supersonic
remember-
rockets, which they've already got.
No. This is a cruise
It's
missile.
subsonic. Subsonic cruise
Subsonic.
missile. Yeah.
And it will just fly around over international airspace over large areas. Fly around in the North Atlantic, or fly around over the Arctic, or fly around over the Pacific.
And then you send a signal, and boom.
Boom. And because it's nuclear powered, it can fly around for months and months and months at a time.
Well, they even had the one that would just go straight up, go past the orbit range,
intercontinentals,
and then just hang there for how long it wants to, and then just drop down.
Well, the space treaty states that you cannot have an orbital weapon system.
Killer weapon system.
Which, even though it's launched from Earth, it can't stay in orbit to then rain down upon said enemy. You can have a missile that goes up there and then comes back down, but it can't stay in orbit.
That Yuri, you were talking about, was it Yuri, First Man in Space cosmonaut cover-up?
Have you found the video?
Yeah, it's 50 minutes long though.
No.
Oh, we'll put it in the homework.
I think that might have been the video. I just don't remember. I didn't take much notice of the name of it.
Oh well, I'll stick it in. We might have to edit it down.
Yeah, I haven't learnt that yet. How to do that yet?
John S. V2 Nazi were first in space. Technically, no. It was an American V2 rocket. They used the Nazi technology.
Actually, technically, it was technically, of course, it was called the A4, not the V2. But
it was.
I don't think the Nazis actually managed to get an A4 all the way fully, properly, correctly suborbital. It was always a bit lower down because they weren't firing it far enough.
No, they weren't. Wasn't. Yeah, it didn't need to go on such a high arc.
Yeah.
Only needed to go across the fucking channel.
Okay.
And of course, I was going 47. They had the A4 systems that they had in order to fire up into space then were American built and of a lot higher quality.
But same design.
Yes.
Play the stupid.
I'm going to say I'm not carrying a 2-ton warhead. Probably helps with the altitude a bit as well.
Yeah, just a camera.
And the planets are just part of a light show. No different than if you went to a planetarium and looked up on the ceiling. I mean, the technology is much, much better. We've been doing planetariums since the 1970s. But can I remember, we've only had HD technology for the last 20 years. Imagine what we could do in the next 100. So whoever built this, way more advanced than us.
Wait, who built it?
Well, take your pick.
Aliens?
It's one of two things. It's either a highly advanced, either an advanced civilization. I don't like to call them aliens because I don't believe in that they come from Mars or Venus or Saturn. I think they're older versions of us. But if it's not some sort of advanced civilization, well, then it's the divine, and one man's advanced tech is another man's deity, so take your pick.
So, but Mark, if this is indeed the case, why would so many people
It was
be
the
in a
dolphins that built
consensus
it.
Earth is round? Why wouldn't we just go, okay,
Thanks
well,
for the
Earth is
fish.
a dome?
Blarty Bart fast. was the engineer.
And that's a great question, because what we're talking about here, and by the way, I don't think that people had anything to do with this thing. All I'm saying is that the United States government and the Soviet Union figured this in about 1960. Even our best and brightest couldn't figure this out until about 1960. And then there comes the question. And I know you as journalists think, oh, you should tell the people. It's like, don't jump to conclusions, because there's three things that could happen. Potentially, all your academia would be turned upside down. All your physical sciences would have to be rebuilt from the ground up. Your world markets would have to be suspended for months to figure out where the dust settles.
1947 and
then, of course, the 5 religious
1958
houses
disprove your
all of a
argument.
sudden have an advance over science, which they haven't for the last 5 centuries. That's a lot to take in for a civilization.
But science moves on. But Mark, science does move on. Science is the art of science is to look at something, break it down, see if it works, go in different theories. So why hasn't this been worked on before? And if what you're saying is true, then science will go, okay, let's prove this theory. If the theory proves true, then we all move on with the new theory.
Well, science takes care of its own. You got to remember, science, mainstream science, and I call it scientism at this point, because they've really turned science into its own religion. They put the rubber stamp on things they can't prove, like carbon dating, like the Big Bang Theory, like dark matter, like evolution, and so on and so on. But if science has been pushing this for the last 5 centuries, they've got a vested interest in it from their institution standpoint. It's the foundation of everything that they are. So they're going to protect it at all costs.
Mark,
so I don't blame them.
In flat Earth theory, Antarctica is actually an ice wall at the edge of the Earth, and a group of people are planning an expedition there, I assume, to prove the theory, right?
Well, it's a nice idea, and I hate to burst your bubble, but that particular story was spawned from because we do Flat Earth conferences, and the conference in 2020 is actually going to be a cruise, but it's leaving out of Miami, and it's just a recreational cruise. Some UK journalist decided to put his own spin on it and said, oh, wouldn't it be great if they turned it into an expedition?
It would be.
So there is no planned expedition. I'm sorry. I hate to do that to
Surely
you.
now, let me ask another question then, Mark. Surely you're getting a lot of money off of YouTube hits and getting this out there and merchandise and you're gathering 6 million people. That's not a small amount of money if you're conducting a business and trying to put something out there. Couldn't you, like Tesla or somebody like that, conduct your own experiment by getting into a rocket, going up there and having a look for yourself, or going to the ice wall and seeing if the walkers are there?
The expedition would be nice, absolutely. But the Antarctic Treaty, which is rock solid and not even up for debate until 2041, keeps just about any authorized expedition from happening.
Liar.
We're stuck with the ground experiments.
No.
What? You're saying that you can't sail around Antarctica?
He was just asked that a group of people, such as like 6 million people, could put their money together and get someone like Elon Musk to take him up on a rocket. And he completely sidestepped it.
Mm.
Yeah, but the 2041, that's a number out of his ass. The Antarctic Treaty has no time limit on it. It is set in stone.
40 years. It was being reviewed in 40 years. So it's probably up for renewal soon, but it'll probably continue anyway.
Yeah, but
there's no reason to change it.
He's talking about the Antarctic Treaty as in going on into Antarctica. I'm talking about going around it.
There's nothing in the treaty that actually stops, we'll call them pedestrians, from going there, though. If you want to go there, if you want to go there and you fund it, fill your boots.
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
You should be
if we
asked
had
the question.
the money, we could throw our own expedition on there.
Yeah, and then the other question too is he should be asked to do a timed trip around the South Pole, and then it should take 80, 90 days to do it, when they could probably do it in like about 2 weeks to go around the South Pole.
Yeah, but they'd have to do it.
To go around Antarctica.
He'd have to fake the data.
Mm.
Yeah.
You'd have to take the prominent flat earthers with you on a expedition around Antarctica with some other people.
Yeah. He'd have to take the critiques too, to say, look, here it takes like 80 days instead of 14 days.
Yeah.
Which he would be proven wrong. Also, the fact there's no penguins with AK-47s on the edge of the wall.
Well, they'd have something a bit more advanced by now.
Oh, that's right. Whales with bazookas, yeah.
walruses with lasers.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, you didn't do the air quotes.
White
Oh.
pointers.
Sorry. Air lasers.
No, in Australia, we have white pointers with lasers and dolphins with lasers. Go on, continue.
Long distance photography, lasers, weather balloons. Take your pick. We do a lot of different
said
experiments,
lasers.
But yes, the expedition would be nice. And as far as money goes, come on. You don't get into flat Earth to make money. In fact, I
That's
don't
not
care
what
about
the
fame.
question was.
Lie.
Right.
But that's not
And
what the
I don't
question
make that much money
was.
off it yet.
Yet.
That's not what the
I
question
think you need
was.
to get bigger props. We have a much
Isn't that
bigger
a
prop
straw
than you,
man?
and therefore I think our theory is better than yours.
They're asking what to do with the
impossible.
money.
Okay. And if you don't, look, what I try to tell people is if you don't hate flat Earth when you first hear about it, there's probably something wrong with you. Everybody that got into flat Earth hated it. I tried to debunk it for 9 months, and that is, can you prove the globe in a court of law? And can you do it without using a space
What's the
agency?
court of law got to do
And
with it?
eventually, you are going to run out of threads to pull on, and the only place you're going to have left to turn is this. And
Yeah,
by
I
the way,
heard
that number,
something
6
about
million
that-
people,
that-
that is way lower than.
Yeah,
I
heard-
could legally
I
prove
don't
it
know
in a
if the
court of
came
law
from, but-
without even going to court.
It's a straw man anyway. The court of law's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I heard something about somebody saying if it went to a court of law and went to a court and the prosecuting and all that, trying to bring up the evidence, and then
It's not
Flat
up to a
Earth would
judge.
be laughed out.
It's not up to a judge to make those facts.
yeah, but
No.
he'd be listening to the evidence.
It's
The
like
scientific
the scope
consensus.
trials.
Oh, this is nearly finished.
What would you say the number is?
What is the number?
Oh God, it's got to be over 100 million at this point. We're massive. We
100 million
before
followers.
YouTube tore down its scoreboard.
2%.
We were more popular than the president of the United States over here when it came to metrics. We beat him in the middle of last
Would
summer.
be 100 million
Mark,
followers.
we
higher.
do
We
have to
went
go
from
because Mark,
50,000
Mark, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but our satellite is going to cut you off, and I'm so sorry. If you come to Australia,
Fine.
let us know. Come on in, let's have a chat.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark.
There you go, Mark.
Yeah.
What a way to get out of it. Our satellite is going to cut you off.
No.
Go on, Terry. Ad blocker.
Yeah. What are we going to press?
You got to press the GoFundMe, and we're going to get you a new computer, and we're going to pay for YouTube Premium for you. All right?
No, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, well, I've got another Discord channel to play with now.
Just go to the extensions option in Google or not Google, Chrome or Firefox or whatever you're using.
Yeah, I'll have a look.
It's very easy. It's
Yeah,
only
I
a
know.
couple of clicks.
It's just yeah.
Quasar,
Just what? just what?
it's Terry.
Well, it's been 2 weeks now.
My time things are different to other people's.
He's gonna do it right after the exhausts are fitted.
It takes him a
It's
month
on
to make a
free.
cup of tea.
He operates on 3G time.
Look, my car ran out of rego a while ago now. I've only got 3 months to do it.
Why? What happens after 3 months then?
I have
Yes, do
to
it
put it
again.
over the pits. That means it has to go for a complete rego inspection
Check.
where they go front to back, inside, outside, everything.
They pull
Like an
seats
MO.
out and everything.
Like an MOT.
Yeah, but worse.
Yeah. They pull your car apart virtually.
I'm so glad I live in South Australia. They don't do that here. As
What do
long
you
as
dri-
you haven't modified the car, you can re-register it no matter how long it's been off the road.
So it could be a rust bucket even.
As
Yeah,
long as you've got the
absolutely.
number plates.
Well, that's
Yep.
another reason to pull you over to do like rust checks and stuff like that.
I would.
You don't live in South Australia, do you?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't
No,
drive.
but
a
I've
car.
lived in Western Australia. Sorry, Terry.
I wouldn't drive a car unless it was roadworthy.
Anyway, what we doing?
I don't know. How long have we been going for? About 3 hours.
4 hours.
I've only got
No.
I've got 3.25 hours here.
Yeah, but we argued for an hour before that.
Yeah, we didn't start live streaming until nearly 10 o'clock.
I thought we started the stream at midday my time.
After.
Yeah, so we've been going for about 3 hours.
No, it was after that.
It's
Alan.
3 hours.
It's only I've got the recording and live thing here saying 3
Started
hours
at
and quarter past.
9:42.
Yeah,
Sorry.
We started a bit late.
Got anything else, Baller?
Oh, let's have a look.
I think that might be it for tonight.
I think we're running out of short ones.
No.
No.
Also
No.
go down and hug the dog.
No.
No.
Yes.
No.
Do you want to?
It's impossible.
It's not impossible.
Do you want to critique?
Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters, and debunkers. It's time to do some primary school science.
Want to critique Fight the Flat Earths and Team Skeptics dancing?
Riders of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
That won't take long.
Oh, nails and hair.
All right, well, I'll grab that and I'll
It
grab that.
only goes for about 3 minutes.
I'm trying to find shorter ones, and it's a bit hard because we're running short on shorter ones.
That's all we got, Grisbait.
Don't all talk at once.
Won't.
Oh yeah, Alan, got a question for you. It's supposed to be summer. What's with the fucking rain and the cricket?
Oh, it's August. It always fucking rains in August. Apart from when it rains in June and July. Sometimes doesn't rain in August.
What was that?
Fucking England. You know what's up with the fucking weather? It's fucking England.
Had their 3 days of sun this year.
Yeah, I know, but you had a heat wave last week, and now you got freaking rain every day.
It's
England.
At least in South Australia, we have a heat wave. It goes for 3 fucking weeks.
Yeah, well, they picked the wrong time of year. Yeah, well, it's stupid to think you can play cricket. 5-day cricket in the UK is actually no. You know why cricket matches are 5 days? Yeah, exactly. You know why why we used to have so long to have a cricket match, didn't you?
Because
of the fucking weather.
Yeah, good night, Juno.
Night, Juno.
No. Yeah, it's England. What do you expect? Why do you think we invented a sport that takes 5 days to take 5 days to fill, 6 days to? In fact, at one time there didn't used to be a time limit on a first-class match. You played for as many days as it took to get 2 innings.
I was about to say the Aussies were on a roll. It was nice weather, and as soon as it rained, they fell.
You know why they introduced the time limit, don't you? Because England had to forfeit a match, I think, in South Africa, because the weather had been bad, and they had to get the boat home.
Ah, that makes sense.
Because obviously this was in the days before
when the boat comes
You
in.
know, yeah, and you know, if they didn't get the boat home, they were fucked. So yeah, that's when they introduced a limit on the number of days that they could the match could take, because yeah, travel bookings, it's a thing.
Yeah, but technically back then, wouldn't they have been citizens of South Africa anyway, because they were part of the Commonwealth?
Yes and no. They still want to come home, because they still are probably only middle class types.
Oh,
They're
still had to
not.
come home for the cup of tea, eh?
Well, they still had to come home because this is where their families are, and this is where their jobs are.
Yeah, and they didn't get paid back
Yeah.
then. Yeah. Yeah, you
They
did it for
weren't
king and
professional.
country, not for money. Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't professional cricket. They weren't necessarily professional cricket players. I don't know when the professional cricket, when professional cricket started, but certainly they would not have been being paid to play for England.
Paid cricket wasn't till like the 80s, as far as I know.
Didn't that all start when they started bringing in the test matches and all that type of shit?
Yeah, when the one days started.
Yeah,
78, I think, or 81.
No, I'm sure there was professional cricket before then. Hey, where's Chrome? Professional cricket.
Don't you just love the randomness of the discussions in here?
Okay, professionalism has a long history in English cricket.
Yeah, but if it started 40 years ago, that's a fucking long time.
History. The Professional Cricketers Association formed in 1967.
And when did it become a full-time?
First professional cricket match.
Come on, give us some information. Come on. Trying to fill dead air here.
Well, I just posted a pic. You can Critique.
Dates in cricket history: 1550, evidence of cricket being played in Guildford, Surrey. 1598, cricket mentioned in Florio, the Italian-English dictionary. 1610, reference to cricketing between Weald and Upland near Chevening in Kent. And
This is not telling me when they're getting professional paychecks.
1624, the first man known to be killed playing cricket. A Jasper Vinnell hit by a butt while trying to catch the ball at Horsted Green, Sussex.
This is sounding like flat Earth research right now. You're just completely avoiding the question. I don't care who was killed playing cricket. I just want to know when they started.
1694, first reference to a wager about a cricket match at Lewes in Sussex.
Relevance?
1697, first reference to a great match with 11 players aside for a prize of 50 guineas. 1709, first inter-county match, Kent v Surrey. 1710, first cricket at Cambridge. 1727, first rules.
So where they went 100 years before they even had rules.
Well, you know, codified rules.
Just whack the ball around.
1727, articles of agreement written governing the conduct of matches between the teams of the Duke of Richmond and Mr. Broderick of Pepperharrow, Surrey.
Oh, that's when they brought in the "don't be a cunt" rule.
Oh, he's still live.
You know, it's like 1:15.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah, but
1744, Kent beat All England by 1 wicket at the Artillery Ground. First known version of the laws of cricket issued by the London club, formalising the pitch as 22 yards long.
And what, do we think Terry's going to get demonetised because I said the C word?
1774, LBW law devised.
Oh look, Furball gave you a heart for my comment. Because I was first.
1787, formation of the Marylebone Cricket Club. 1788, first revision of the laws of cricket by the MCC.
Can you scroll faster?
There's a lot. It's all
not a little
small,
subject.
It's all small font, and there's a lot of fucking lines.
I didn't know you could scroll in cricket.
(1836) batting pads invented. (1841) General Lord Hill, Commander-in-Chief of the British Army, orders that a cricket ground be made an adjunct of every military barracks. 1844. Okay, here's a good one for you. First official international match. Which two countries?
Australia and England, probably.
No.
So it'd be England and
Neither.
Pakistan. Oh.
Neither.
Pakistan and South Africa, maybe.
Pakistan didn't exist in 1844.
Oh, jeez.
And neither did South Africa. It's the Cape Colony, I believe. Time. It was. Yeah, you're not going to guess this. In a million years, you're not going to guess this. Canada versus the United States.
Oh, really?
Oh, sorry.
1850, wicket-keeping gloves first used. (1859) First touring team to leave England, captained by George Parr, draws enthusiastic crowds in the US and Canada. 1864 overhand bowling authorised.
Where's Terry?
Here now. I'm here now.
You might want to end the stream, or
Well, if I got nothing else to go to do,
Unless you want to watch that Riders with Dinosaurs video of
no, I think we might. It is getting on to 120.
we can still talk, but it's going sideways.
Yeah.
very
Feed
quickly.
live.
Yeah, we can just go back to Discord anyway.
Yeah, let's do that.
What is the record score for a first-class innings?
700 and something by the West Indies, wasn't it?
No. 1107. Victoria against New South Wales at Melbourne. 1926.
Wow, 1100. Was the other team actually there?
Did the other team even get a chance to bat to make that many runs?
Were they late to get into the game?
They were playing the New South Wales blind side.
1930, New Zealand's first Test match, and Bradman's first tour of England. He scores 970 runs in the five Ashes tests, still a record for any Test series.
First officially recognised international match was Australia England in Melbourne. Officially recognised, but yeah, the Americans and the Canadians were the first international match.
Oh, you like my picture, Terry?
Yeah, I put it up, didn't I?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is up.
See, that wouldn't happen if the Earth wasn't tilted and spinning.
Okay, this is a useless fucking list, even though it came from when was the first professional cricket match? 1963, the distinction between amateur and professional cricketers was abolished in English cricket.
Well, I'm going to end the stream now. So we've done our videos, whatever they were. I'm still a bit of a loss to some of them, but anyway. But I still learnt a little bit. Again, I learnt about a triangle with 90 degrees and two 45-degree angles, and I got it right.
And the lengths, if the sides were 1 and 1 of the hypotenuse.
No, don't get too technical.
No, I was just saying because anyway. Yeah, go on.
Okay then. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night.
Bye.
People.
Good night.
Good night, world.
Like a notch.
Yeah.
Night, everybody.
Night. Bye. Night.